As we go to Old Trafford for Manchester United and Norwich City with Jimmy Armfield and John Murray.
Thank you, Mark. Just as the two sets of players are changing ends, the yellow and green passing the red and white, and the Norwich players going into a huddle. Beautiful March sunshine here in Manchester and on Old Trafford, which is packed to the gunwales. And my eye's just been caught in the director's box by Ryan Giggs, who has taken his seat only about 5 yards to our left on the back row there. If you weren't listening earlier, there'll be no 1,000th appearance of his senior career for Ryan Giggs today, because he's not in the team and he's not on the bench either. And I see Delia Smith as well, just taking her seat down at the front of the director's box. Goodness me, Jimmy Armfield, Ryan Giggs has had almost more appearances than she's made hot dinners.
I wouldn't say that, but
maybe not. What about the game today?
Well, I was just talking earlier to Mark, and I was looking at Norwich. Really, they've had one win away from home all season. You know, if they could pull this off here, it just might give a little bit of hope to Manchester City. You know, the chasing pack. But really, you look at Manchester United's record. They've won 12 out of 13 at Old Trafford in the Premier League this year. You know, this looks as though, you know, this is another opportunity for them, to press on. But we shall see. Football's funny how sometimes things change round. And Norwich were the last team, of course, to beat them.
They were, yeah, one of only 3 teams to beat Manchester United in the Premier League this season. And Anthony Pilkington, who scored the goal, that fine goal, if you remember it, the header, he's in the Norwich team today. It is Norwich defending the old Stretford end to our left, who have a goal kick after a challenge came in from Valencia on that far side, and it went through behind the goal. So these are the teams then. Manchester United, obviously, the great talking point, wasn't it, the team selection today, because Real Madrid will be the next side that Manchester United line up against here at Old Trafford on Tuesday night. And the United team, it's a bit of a mix really, but it is a strong team. De Gea in goal, Smalling, Vidic, Evans and Evra, Valencia, Carrick, Anderson and Kagawa, with Rooney and Van Persie up front. Ferdinand, we're told, is not very well. He's got flu or a cold or whatever, so he's not involved at all today. But Rooney and Van Persie up front means it's pretty strong, Jimmy.
Strong team. I would have put money on Van Persie not starting the match. I thought he might have started on the bench, but, because they definitely need him next Tuesday. But nevertheless, Alex Ferguson is always full of surprises, isn't he? I would have thought Ryan Giggs would have, been somewhere in the starting lineup, so I didn't get that one right either.
And Norwich, as I say, making the one change, Pilkington in for Becchio, one of the January signings, who is on the substitutes bench. Long ball forward for Norwich for Grant Holt, a captain, to chase, but he won't reach that. And it's out of play for a throw into United in their own left-back position. So the Norwich team, Bunn, Martin, Bassong, Turner and Garrido, Johnson and Howson, Snodgrass, Houlihan, Pilkington and Holt.
Holt's an interesting guy. Played up the road not far from here at Rochdale, and he was available for a lot of clubs. He's done really well, I think, for Norwich City. I'm pleased for him. He's a really wholehearted player.
Yeah, he also played a little bit further up the road from here in Workington, if you remember, right at the start of his career.
That's right.
And Carlisle too. Here come Norwich on the left-hand side. Ball chipped across from the left-hand side, and Holt was there on the edge of the 6-yard box, and if the delivery had been better from that left flank, that could have been 1-0 Norwich.
Well, it's a good move. It was a sharp move as well. Smalling was caught out of position. Johnson moved into it. It wasn't a difficult cross. He's on the edge of the penalty area on the left-hand side, and he's overhit the ball. That was a chance for Norwich. If they could get the first goal, it would give them a real bit of heart in this match.
Yeah, poor from Johnson. It's Johnson's left-footed cross that was nowhere near Holt, really, and over the top of the crossbar. So Manchester United against Norwich City is our 5 live commentary match this Saturday afternoon. 7 Premier League games currently underway. The 3 o'clock kickoffs this afternoon. Snodgrass has just taken a knock there. Kagawa, I think, just caught him. So Snodgrass writhing around. I think he might receive some treatment. Yeah, there's been a goal in the Hull Birmingham game. Stuart Pike.
50 seconds, goal for Hull City, and what a start to his new career for George Boyd. A full debut, a home debut, brilliant ball through from Robbie Brady. Boyd rounding Jack Butland and tapping it into an empty net. Hull City 1, Birmingham City 0.
Snodgrass has just rolled off the pitch here, so play is going to be able to continue. Just went in for a challenge, Jimmy, with Kagawa.
Yeah, he did. He's quite a tough lad. You could see when he went down he was hurt. I don't know how bad he is. he's hobbling around a little bit. He'll get back on, but he's definitely hobbling.
Here's Carrick for Manchester United, plays it through the middle towards Van Persie, 25 yards out, still Van Persie, square from him to Anderson. Anderson now to this left-hand side to Evra. It's just a little wayward, and then in slides Snodgrass, who's back on the pitch and sliding in, fresh as a daisy. You wouldn't have thought they'd had any problem at all with his fitness in the last few moments. Put it out of play for a throw-in near the corner flag. In front of the Stretford end, it's the Norwich supporters you can hear at the moment singing to our right, and Coventry have taken the lead against Swindon. Coventry 1, Swindon 0 in League 1, and it's Hearts 0, Motherwell 1 in the Premier League in Scotland. Michael Higdon after Motherwell's win against Celtic in the week.
There's been one or two, shall we say, challenges coming in early from Norwich. You know, we just saw the one down there just a moment ago from Snodgrass. They're just going to test Manchester United's mettle a little bit, I think, you know, in this early match, you know, with this big match coming up next Tuesday. But Alec Ferguson, I think what he's done with this team, I think he's put his own players on the mettle and said, you know, this is the match that's important. That's why Van Persie's playing, you know, and I think that's it. That's how he's psycho for this game.
MK Dons 1-0 up on Preston. Manchester United with Valencia on the right-hand side. Valencia rolls it forward for Rooney, who couldn't reach it, and it's been intercepted there by Bassong, and Norwich will pass it away from in front of their own penalty area. It is the sturdy figure of Johnson playing it to the right hand side here to the right back Russell Martin, and then Norwich go back into their own central defence to Michael Turner. Yeah, really big week for Manchester United. This game here today, the chance to go 15 points clear, with Manchester City not playing until Monday night. We've got commentary on both of the Manchester clubs over the course of these 3 days of Premier League action. City at Villa on Monday, as Van Persie plays it through for Rooney, but just a little too much on the pass from Van Persie, and Mark Bunn was able to slide out of his goal and gather it.
Yes, and Norwich's defence were just caught a little bit square there. They can't afford to do that, you know, with Van Persie around. A lovely little pass as well, just slightly overhit, you were right.
But an absolutely key week in Manchester United's pursuit of this treble we're talking about. Champions League here on Tuesday night, when we'll be here in force on 5 Live. And then next weekend on the Sunday, the FA Cup quarter-final at home to Chelsea, which you'll also be able to hear here. Bristol Rovers 1-0 up on Burton in League 2. Burton third in League 2 in the playoff, in the automatic promotion positions in League 2. So Manchester United 0, Norwich City 0, very early stages here at Old Trafford. How have things started at Stamford Bridge, Mark Pugach?
Very brightly, 0-0 Chelsea and West Brom. Chelsea could have scored in the 4th minute. Brilliant cross from Barr. Oscar should have scored from 5 yards. Foster pulled off a great save. Then Mata, wonderful technique, volleyed wide after a fine layoff from Oscar. At the other end, Stephen Reid thumped a free kick straight down the middle. Cech tipped it over. Benitez, a few boos when he first came to stand out in the technical area. He's still there now, 0-0.
Round all of the matches now on 5 Live to St Mary's next, and Jonathan Ledyard.
It's 0-0 Southampton, Queen's Park Rangers. Cagey stuff so far as Cork's other shot. Got birthday cake on the brain. It was past the post. Main talking point so far, I suppose, was the boos, a chorus of disapproval as Harry Redknapp left it to the last minute to appear out of the tunnel, accompanied by Joe Jordan, almost cast at his minder, much to the enjoyment of the huge Queen's Park Rangers contingent away to my right. 0-0 in the sunshine.
To Merseyside next, and Conor McNamara.
Everton 0, Reading 0. It's not been a great day for David Moyes so far. He lost Tim Howard to a fitness test before kick-off. Now he's lost Phil Jagielka to injury after just a few minutes of the game. Alan Lafondra was the man who came in, collected the yellow card for the challenge. Lafondra, who scored when Reading beat Everton early in the season, 0-0.
The League Cup winners are back in action today, and Andy Gillis is watching them.
They were almost ahead a minute ago. Swansea 0, Newcastle 0, but they were almost ahead when de Guzman's free kick was headed down by Michu. It fell to Ashley Williams, who almost turned it in, and Taylor cleared it off the line for Newcastle. Swansea 0, Newcastle 0.
To Stoke in a moment, but Manchester United on the move with Van Persie to Rooney on the edge of the area, but Rooney's return pass was cut out and Norwich clear it away. So Stoke, West Ham, Pat Murphy.
It's 0-0 here, and already Matt Taylor of West Ham is going off. I think that's him for the game. He's been concussed by a boot from Peter Crouch, overhead kick, bicycle kick, got it in the face. The West Ham players overreacted, I felt. The siege mentality was there, not least of all Joey O'Brien, should have been booked earlier on for a shocking tackle. He got away with it. So has Crouch. We're waiting for an outbreak of football here. Stoke 0, West Ham 0.
Currently 7th on our list of the 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Barclays Premier League is Sunderland Fulham, but I think sounds as though Stoke West Ham, you might be able to threaten them, Peter Slater.
I thought you were trying to tell me something here, John. Yeah, goalless after 10 minutes. Bright start from the home side though. John O'Shea heading Johnson's corner into the side netting after just 65 seconds. Fulham playing high enough up the field to suggest they've come with ambition, so who knows, we may not be bottom of the pile all afternoon. Sunderland 0, Fulham 0.
Crewe 0, Portsmouth 1 in League 1. And Cheltenham are 1-0 up on Wimbledon in League 2. In the Npower Championship, we're with the leaders Cardiff at Middlesbrough. It's on 5 Live Sports Extra, by the way, the commentary on that game. Steve May's watching for us.
It's 0-0 here, John. Bellamy had a long shot, more in hope than anything else earlier on. And at the other end, Ledbetter's free kick was headed over by Amiobi, making his debut here for Middlesbrough this afternoon. It's 0-0.
Back to Stuart Pike at the KC Stadium.
Still leading Birmingham 1-0. Hull were a goal down inside a minute at Bolton last week. Well, a goal up inside 50 seconds. George Boyd on his debut took it coolly past Jack Butland. Hull 1, Birmingham 0.
And at Portman Road, Simon Mann.
Nearly 10 minutes gone, it's still Ipswich 0, Leicester 0. Not much to report really. One shot from Ben Marshall that was easily gathered by Stephen Henderson for Ipswich. It's a less than perfect pitch. Tacky and bobbly set pieces could be the key today. It's Ipswich 0, Leicester 0.
Morecambe are winning 1-0 against Rochdale. And Motherwell have scored a second goal at Tynecastle. Nicky Law has made it Hearts 0, Motherwell 2, after Hearts sacked the manager this week. And Oxford United 1-0 up on Port Vale in League 2. Port Vale behind again after losing in midweek. Also MK Dons 1, Preston 1. And our featured game in League 2 is the Plymouth-Barnet game. Hamish Marshall.
0-0. The home side have made all the running in the first 10 minutes, but their goal drought at home goes on. The best they've mustered was a curling shot from fullback Becerra, but that was off target. Plymouth 0, Barnet 0.
Manchester United coming forward here as they attack from right to left. Evra finds Snodgrass sliding in to put the ball out of play, and it's a throw-in to Manchester United halfway inside the Norwich half. In the Championship, Blackburn 0, Peterborough 1. Dwight Gale for the Championship's bottom club. Blackburn haven't scored a goal since they won at Arsenal in the FA Cup. And I'm hearing that Real Madrid have taken the lead against Barcelona in the league meeting this afternoon in Madrid, and Benzema has scored the early goal for Madrid. What about the team, Jimmy Armfield, that Manchester United have picked? What sort of clues are there in this team selection for the side that Sir Alex Ferguson might pick on Tuesday night? Are there any clues?
I don't think there are. I'm pretty sure that Raphael will certainly appear. I think he's an absolute certainty to appear. But I think really what he's done here, I think he's given a message. I made the point earlier to his players, it's one match at a time still. We haven't won the title yet, and that's why, I've gone for the side that we've gone for here. This is a strong team he's put out today.
It's a little similar, isn't it? We've seen the team, for those who didn't hear it earlier, the side that Real Madrid have picked this afternoon, Mourinho. Quite a strong team that he's playing, but not involved in the starting lineup for Madrid are Ronaldo, Ozil, Khedira, Alonso, Di Maria. So, plenty of the big guns being rested by Mourinho in Madrid today.
Yes, they will. I think they're key players, and I think it was pretty certain. I don't think Ronaldo was going to play today.
No.
I would think that was, absolutely certain. They'll look on this European Cup, so massive for them, always have done.
Yeah, chasing that 10th one. Van Persie's been fouled by Basong here. And at Ewood Park, Peterborough are now 2-0 up. Dwight Gale's got a second goal. Blackburn 0, Peterborough 2. Another goal at the KC Stadium. Stuart Pike.
Hull have double their advantage. 2-0. Ghetto, their Egyptian star, rounding the keeper Butland. It was a hopeful long ball by Myler, and Ghetto just outpaced the Birmingham defence. His 4th goal in 5 games. They were 3 down in 8 minutes against Bolton last weekend. They're 2 up against Birmingham inside 11 minutes here.
Manchester United with a free kick that Van Persie plays in high towards the back post, where Vidic headed it down and across. Could have gone anywhere, but it fell to a yellow canary shirt, and Norwich got it away, Jimmy.
It's amazing really. You'd think, your goal scorer, and he takes so many free kicks around the box, looking for other players. He chipped that over for Vidic. It was right on the button. It was a beautiful free kick.
An opening goal at Southampton, Jonathan Ledger.
Sir Harry Redknapp Southampton supporters stunned. 1-0 to Queen's Park Rangers. Ball played through to Remy, running behind the rear line of the red shirts, the Southampton defence, and right-footed slammed it past keeper and defence. 1-0 Rangers. Game on.
And straight to Sunderland. A penalty, Peter Slater.
Yeah, penalty to Fulham, which Dimitar Berbatov is going to take. Djago was fouled by Craig Gardner. It took Mark Harsey an awful long time to make up his mind. Maybe he needed the help from his assistant. The boos ringing around the Stadium of Light, and up steps Berbatov. False start, now steps up and just plants it very, very calmly. Very cheeky penalty into the corner of the net. We played quarter of an hour. It's Sunderland 0, Fulham 1.
Yeah, typical Berbatov.
He does it. That was the right word. He does everything calmly, doesn't he? Yeah.
We were talking this week, Jimmy, on the programme the night we were at Goodison Park about contenders for Player of the Year. Yeah. And he won't win it, Berbatov.
No, not a chance.
No, not a chance. But he is a joy to watch. He is an absolute delight to watch.
He's a style all of his own. It's a casual style. You see the goal he scored
last weekend
on the volley. And, you know, it just... nice little smile came across his face.
Manchester United coming forward with Van Persie. Back to Rooney, through to Van Persie. Out comes Bunn and makes a really good block. That was a true 50-50 between striker and goalkeeper. They both got there at the same time, and Bunn grabbed the ball, and I think, well, he's been caught by Van Persie, who had every right to go for it, but the Norwich goalkeeper has stayed down.
Yes, the ball was played so quickly by Rooney into the space. I said about Norwich getting caught square, and what happened was, as he went for the ball, as the ball was played through, it was very quick, and he had to go for the ball, but the goalkeeper's taken it. He did well, the goalkeeper. That was a very good save. But the main thing of all was, of course, you have to watch in that scenario today, forwards are good at diving over, you know, and referees giving penalties, and then the next thing you know, you're the first man in the bath. But anyway, the goalkeeper did really well. He's taking a knock, but it was a good save.
Straight to Middlesbrough, Steve May.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise here, John. It's Middlesbrough 1, Cardiff City the leaders 0. It was Miller on the left-hand side on the byline who just teed up Kieran Dyer, who tucked it in from 2 yards out. First goal of the season. It's Middlesbrough 1, Cardiff 0.
Also Oxford 1, Port Vale 1. Port Vale have equalised. And while Mark Bunn receives treatment, a number of the players here just having a breather. It's Manchester United 0, Norwich City 0 on 5 Live. We've played just over quarter of an hour of this game. Drinks bottles been sent on. So we'll update things at Stamford Bridge while we've got a delay here. Mark Pugac.
In the 16th minute, John. Yes, 0-0 here. Chance all around the ground of Juan Di Matteo. Standing ovation as well for the former Chelsea manager. Benitez, as it started, retreated into his little rabbit hutch down below us. But actually, to be fair, has come back out again. And it's all calmed down now. Still 0-0. Another cross from Mata, which Oscar headed straight at Ben Foster. Chelsea 0, West Brom 0.
And have you reached the 16th minute yet, Mark?
Yes, we were in the 16th minute when we had the standing ovation for Roberto Di Matteo. And as I say, Benitez went and sat down initially, but is back out in his technical area now.
Fine, sorry. No, I was being whispered in my ear, actually, at the time. But
lucky you, John, on a Saturday afternoon.
Well, got Delia not far away, you know, so...
He's eating cake and jelly.
Now, the Norwich goalkeeper is OK, Jimmy. I think he's going to be able to continue. But the free kick has been given as a free kick for Van Persie's challenge on him. Is taken by Garrido, the former Manchester City man, at left back for Norwich. Downfield now of play from Manchester United, throw in the left back position. It's Barnsley 0, Bolton 1, who are showing real signs. Bolton Wanderers under Dougie Friedman. David and Gog putting Bolton in front at Barnsley, who will come to Manchester in the FA Cup quarter-finals next weekend. Barnsley for the tea time game. You'll hear all of those matches on 5 Live and Sports Extra next weekend in the quarter-finals. Here's Carrick now forward towards Van Persie. Van Persie near the centre circle. 2 Norwich players on him. Howson is there, Turner as well. The ball comes out for United. Evra comes inside Snodgrass. Neil Swarbrick is the referee, by the way. I'm not sure I'd mentioned that yet. And eventually the ball is put out of play by off Evra for a throw-in to Norwich inside their own half.
I was trying to make that point about Manchester United having free kicks, you know, in the last third of the field. It's incredible how many Van Persie actually takes. You think he'd be, as a striker, a goal scorer, you know, being in the box all the time. But he's the man taking these free kicks because he's so accurate. And he curls them away from the goalkeeper. The last free kick towards Vidic was absolutely terrific.
Well, I must say I'm surprised to see him starting the game today after watching him fall into the pit at QPR a week ago and injuring his hip. I just wonder, I noticed, Jimmy, he's got 1 goal in his last 6 appearances. He's due a goal. Just wonder whether Sir Alex is maybe thinking, I'd like to see him get a goal before the game on Tuesday night as well, which would have the double advantage, obviously, in this game and that one on Tuesday. Anderson playing it back towards Vidic, and we're going back to Middlesbrough and Steve May.
Where it's now Middlesbrough 2, Cardiff City 0. Sammy Amiobi on his league debut took it round one player inside the box and executed the perfect shot. It's Middlesbrough 2, Cardiff 0.
And Bury 0, Crawley 1, with Richie Barker going back to Bury today with Crawley, who are 1-0 up. Manchester United 0, Norwich 0. Norwich with Johnson, who just hooks the ball into the centre circle. It was awkward for him, and Manchester United have got it back. He has Carrick, space in front of him. Carrick drives a pass forward towards Rooney, then it's played forward by Van Persie, and Kagawa was chasing after it from the left hand side into the box, but Van Persie just drove it through into the penalty area, and Bunn, who does look as though he's still just...
He's got a bit of a limp, hasn't he?
Yes, just working off that knock.
That was a lovely move from Manchester United. They've got this scenario where Van Persie's the target man, Rooney's sort of floating just behind, and he's the man who's making the pass. It was a lovely little pass when he got it from Carrick there, just slightly away from Van Persie.
It's 0-0 here at Old Trafford on 5 Live. Dagenham and Redbridge 0, Chesterfield 1. Manchester United back in possession inside their penalty area, and it is Johnny Evans who will bring the ball away. The sun becomes a little stronger. Springtime feels like springtime is with us today, doesn't it, with the sun shining like this. And Anderson for Manchester United, shirt outside his white shorts, gives the ball away in centre field. Pilkington was the recipient. Now back with Basson, who passes it straight back to Smalling on the halfway line.
They're not getting any real continuity in the play, Norwich. They've got the backs to the wall a little bit. Manchester United we expect, in the early part of the game, but they had a little bit of an incentive early on. When Johnson just overhit a centre, with Holt waiting on the far post. But since then, they've gone on the back foot.
Smalling now down the right, his cross into the penalty area, headed down and back to Smalling by Turner. Once again, Smalling on the right. And then over comes Valencia. Valencia chips it into the middle to Anderson, who volleys it into the penalty area to Kagawa, who was robustly challenged by Garrido. Now across from the right for United from Valencia, but it's over the top of everyone in the box. And then Snodgrass slides in once again with Evra. Evra comes out with the ball. Manchester United with some purpose now in this attack. Here's Kagawa, and his pass results in Johnson stealing in and taking the ball away over the halfway line. Still going Johnson, and then he trips Carrick, who came across in front of him.
Yeah, he didn't try and trip him. What he did, Carrick ran across him, and he just tripped him up. It was a bit unlucky that for Johnson.
Brighton in front against Huddersfield. Brighton in 6th coming into these games this afternoon. Jose Ulloa has scored again for Brighton. Manchester United 0, Norwich 0. Barcelona have equalised against Real Madrid. Messi has scored, so it's 1-1 in the Bernabeu. He has Rooney for Manchester United into the box, then out again. Rooney pulls it back to Carrick. Carrick now through to Kagawa in the box on the left hand side. Kagawa's cross over everyone and chested down and cleared away by Pilkington. So Manchester United 0, Norwich 0. And we should make a visit to the Leicester Sale game for the first time since kick-off in the Aviva Premiership. Alistair Eakin.
23 minutes gone here, John. Tigers leading Sale by 3 points to 0, just a single penalty from George Ford. They've had a couple of try-scoring opportunities. A pass from Tom Croft out of the back door, so to speak, was taken by Thompson but ruled forward as he was clear. Mullapola knocked on with the line beckoning as well. So a couple of chances but no tries as yet. Leicester 3, Sale 0.
Meanwhile, the leaders, Harlequins, are off and running already in the 3:15 kick-off, Ian Robertson.
They are. They've gone one better than Leicester. A try by Ugo Monya coming from the wing right across, slicing through in midfield, touching down. Nick Evans is converted. We've played 8 minutes of the first half, and Harlequins a quarter of the way towards a 4-try bonus point. They lead by 7 points to 0.
Manchester United coming forward with a cross from Valencia on the right, but it's blocked inside the area, back out of play for a throw-in to United on the right.
Cross. It was a poor cross from Valencia. They had it all the time in the world, really. He couldn't get it past the first man.
Exeter 1-0 up on Northampton, both in the playoff positions in League Two. groans here for a pass by Anderson, straight out of play, nowhere near Evra, yards and yards away from him, and he rubs his head, Anderson, in frustration at himself. A goal at Plymouth, Hamish Marshall.
It's Plymouth 0, Barnet 1, their first attack of the match. Barnet crossed from the left-hand side, and it was Jake Hyde who scored from about 6 yards out. Barnet been under the cosh so far, but they're in front 1-0.
So relatively quiet in the Premier League in terms of goals, with all of these 3 o'clock kickoffs. 0-0 here at Old Trafford. The only matches with goals, as the ball is played back to Bunn, who miscontrols it. A little fortunate, but was able to recover. Virtually on his goal line, but he got it away. And United come again with Van Persie. Van Persie, challenged by Turner, but still Van Persie in possession. Swings over a cross, right over to the far side to Valencia. Valencia now into the area up against Garrido. Crosses, took a deflection. Kagawa, now Carrick, pulls it back onto his left foot, but shoots weakly, and a comfortable save by Bunn down to his left.
No, that was the best move from Manchester United so far. There's 2 or 3 passes put together. The first one from Van Persie was an absolute beaut from left, right across to right. But really, when the ball came back, Carrick had no real power on it.
So the only games with goals currently in the Premier League: Southampton 0, QPR 1, and Sunderland 0, Fulham 1. Earlier in our first commentary match of the day, Leeds United, one of Jimmy's old clubs, were 1-0 winners against Millwall in the Championship, and Leeds are, as we speak, just 3 points off the playoff positions in the Championship.
They're having a little bit of a run as well, which is good for Leeds.
25 minutes played, Manchester United 0, Norwich 0. The latest scores in the Championship, the games with goals: Barnsley 0, Bolton 1, Blackburn 0, Peterborough 2, Hull City 2-0 up on Birmingham, and Middlesbrough 2-0 up on Cardiff. The other games all 0-0. Grant Holt has taken a bang. Manchester United sweep forward on the counter-attack. Valencia now to Van Persie. He's in the area on the right-hand side, goes for the byline. Defender came in with a touch. Basong put it behind for a corner. Before they take it, we'll just get a quick update from Mark Pugac at Stamford Bridge.
0-0 here. Nothing wrong with the way Chelsea are playing in terms of their mood. Oscar close a couple of times. The best opportunity in the 4th minute. Should have scored. Foster made a great save. 0-0 after 26 minutes.
Van Persie just places the ball in the quadrant over on that far side. United supporters all around and behind him, watching down as Van Persie plays this in high towards Vidic, who was challenged by Basong, and Vidic got ahead to it, wondering whether it came off the back of Basong's head, but referee Swarbrick has a look at his assistant and says goal kick only.
I couldn't understand Norwich's tactics there on the corner kick. You had 3 or 4 of the defenders all the way round the goalkeeper, around their own goalkeeper, Mark Bunn, and so United put a couple of players in there as well. Van Persie's going to loft that ball up, into the box. And I think you've got to give the goalkeeper a bit of room. You can.
I think the replay showed that it should have been a corner.
Yeah, it was a corner.
But they don't get
referees
2 or 3 chances like we do.
No, that's right.
Goodness me, it's now Blackburn 0, Peterborough 3, and Dwight Gale has scored a hat-trick in the first 27 minutes.
Yeah, they do get goals away from home. They've had 1 or 2 good wins. Didn't they win at Cardiff, didn't they? Am I right, I'm saying?
Well, they've lost the last couple, but all of those teams at the bottom of the Championship, or many of the teams at the bottom, are showing a little bit of form, which makes it very, very interesting. And I noticed that Ipswich are only 3 points above the drop zone again, despite their better form since Mick McCarthy went there. Long ball forward from Garrido for Norwich, but that's straight through to De Gea, who's hardly touched the ball in the opening half hour almost of this game.
Chris Hughton's going to have a heart attack in a minute. He's down in front of him, just screaming at his players. It's hard to tell what he's saying.
Here's Kagawa bringing it forward for Manchester United. Rooney wasn't able to give it back to Kagawa. And a goal at Chelsea, Mark Pugac.
And Chelsea have scored. Demba Ba, Oscar with the cross. Luis headed it back, and Demba Ba knocked it in from about 4 or 5 yards out. Nigel Spackman, they've been playing well. There's been nothing wrong with the mood of Chelsea today.
There's been nothing wrong with the mood. They played some good football at times. Foster's made some excellent saves, but on this occasion it was a wonderful ball in from this left-hand side from Oscar to the back stick. Foster couldn't get there. Luis got right round the back, headed it back across the 6-yard box, and there was Demba Ba to put it in the back of the net.
Chelsea 1, West Brom 0 after 28 minutes.
Still 0-0 here at Old Trafford on 5 Live. Awful pass by Johnny Howson, who got it all wrong and passed it out of play halfway inside his own half. We've seen a few of those in the
well,
game
we
so
have,
far.
there must be somebody on the second row. They're all trying to give him a message. That was
It's not the
awful
Glazers,
from
is
Johnny
it?
Hansen. My golly, I don't know what he was thinking about.
The Glazers are here today. There is some Glazer attendance, let's put it that way. Here's Valencia on the right-hand side. Leyton Orient have taken the lead against Bournemouth. Leyton Orient 1, Bournemouth 0. Still United with it on the right. Smalling's cross in towards Kagawa. Back to Rooney. Rooney evades the challenge that comes in, but then Howson was the second line of defence and he was able to play it away.
Should have been first time, Wayne, I think, that one. He took a second touch on it, didn't need to.
Carrick now to Rooney. Lovely little flick from him to Kagawa, but Turner went to ground and hooked it away. And Norwich played up towards Snodgrass. A try at Leicester now. Alistair Eakin.
And it is the Tigers who lead by 10 points to 0 now after 19 minutes of the opening half. Ed Slater, the lock forward, crashing over. Good bit of continuity from the Tigers, particularly their backs, combining with the pack. And Slater, the man with the try. Ford converting, it's 10-0. They're 10-0 up against Sale.
Kagawa for Manchester United here on the left-hand side. Tried to take it round the defender and I think it bounced back onto him and through for what is a goal kick. So still 0-0 at Old Trafford.
I don't think Kagawa was quite made the impact that I thought he might have done after watching him play in Germany. I thought he fit well. I don't think he's quite just done it yet. He's got some lovely touches on the ball. He just tried to overstretch himself a little bit there. I felt it was too tight for him on the byline. But he's not really secured a place, has he?
Made a very promising start.
Very promising start.
And then had that knee injury that really seemed to have set him back. But a double winner with Borussia Dortmund last season. And possibly a treble winner this season. We'll see about that. As I say, the next week it could play a big part in that. Holt has been pulled up for a foul on Valencia, who's trying to wriggle away from him. So it's a free kick to Manchester United inside their own half.
Yes.
Right, let's get an update on Southampton and Queen's Park Rangers from Jonathan Ledger.
It's still Southampton 0, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Still, every time Harry Redknapp ventures into his technical area, the Southampton fans booed. And they've even more reason to do so because they are trading by that goal by Loic Remy, and the Southampton will rattle for some time. We're now reached just into 32 minutes played, and the home side coming back a little bit more. They've still not tested Cesar, mainly because Samba is having a magnificent game.
Manchester United coming forward, ball felt of Rooney, who volleyed it, blocked inside the box. Van Persie thought he might be onto it, but his effort was blocked as well, and Norwich have got it away. Anderson in with a challenge on Holt, and Holt is now appealing. Palms apart to the referee, no free kick. Rooney now in possession. Rooney shoots, took a deflection, and that carries it wide and behind for a corner to United.
Yeah, it's been his life sparked into the game then. First of all, Holt was appealing for a foul. I think the referee was absolutely right. And it came to the other end. There was a lovely little turn from Rooney, and he got the shot. I think it was on target. The Song just came in with a challenge. Just got a deflection, enough to send it out for a corner. And here comes the in-swinger again.
It's now Crewe 0, Portsmouth 2. Van Persie with the corner. Here it comes to the edge of the 6-yard box. Rooney with a header, but he was twisting and turning under pressure. And I thought he hit him on the back. And the referee says it's taken a flick from a Norwich player. Norwich players with hands on hips staring at the referee there.
Anyway, Holt and the referee are having another little tete-a-tete.
Well, he didn't give a corner earlier that should have been. And he's now given United a corner that perhaps wasn't. Rooney takes it to the near post, poor delivery from him, and Grant Holt was able to play it away unchallenged. Only to Kagawa though, and Kagawa now towards Van Persie here in the area on the left-hand side. Van Persie's cross blocked by Holt, behind for another Manchester United corner. Just before they take it, Conor McNamara can tell us what's happening over at Goodison.
Everton 0, Reading 0. So far Everton have had most of the ball, but Lafondra hitting the woodwork is the closest we've come to a goal. Everton's best chance fell to Jelavic, but Stuart Taylor saved well on his Reading debut. Everton 0, Reading 0.
Rooney plays the corner in, took a flick off a Norwich head and made its way out of play on the far side in front of the Sir Alex Ferguson stand for a throw-in near the corner flag that Valencia will take. Actually leaves it to Smalling to take. Anderson goes across there and challenged by Garrido. I think he might have got a shove in the back, Anderson, but nothing given by the referee, and it's cleared away. But again, Manchester United take up possession. They've been camped in the Norwich half, really. Now Valencia, great turn onto his left foot, now into the area. Kagawa back to Rooney. Rooney's shot blocked, and Norwich are able to head it away.
Well, there was 2 or 3 opportunities there, I thought, for a shot. I thought Anderson should have hit it first time. But there was one too many touches, and Norwich just found a foot at the right time.
Now United again. Smalling's cross from the right. Kagawa heads it into the box, and it's cleared away by Bassong. Just got under it and cleared it away. And there's been another goal at Sunderland. Peter Slater.
It's a second goal for Fulham. It came from a corner, but it came from a Sunderland corner. Very quick clearance on the break to Jagger, who I said was causing problems down the right-hand side this time. And the final touch, I think, to Sasha Rita for Fulham. It's Sunderland 0, Fulham 2.
Sunderland have got to be careful. They've lost their last 3 games and 2-0 down at home to Fulham. Walsall winning 1-0 against Shrewsbury. And Andy Gillis will update us on Swansea and Newcastle.
Still no goals, although Williams' effort was cleared off the line by Taylor early on. Newcastle having a decent spell, lots of possession in the Swansea half. Not a decent chance though. Swansea 0, Newcastle 0.
And what news from Stoke, Pat Murphy?
Very little. Reid is having a very good game in the West Ham defence. Fine tackle on Jerome, and then Collins, a back header just on top of the Stoke net. Stoke 0, West Ham 0.
Plenty of goals at Hull, Stuart Pike.
It's 3-0 to Hull inside 32 minutes, and a second on his full debut for George Boyd. El Mohammadi setting him up inside the box, and a left-footed shot. Butland got a hand to it, but it went into the bottom corner. Hull City 3, Birmingham 0.
What a difference a week makes for Hull City, who were 3-0 down in no time at Bolton last week, if you remember. Manchester United coming forward. It's 0-0 here on 5 Live. Rooney to Van Persie. Van Persie's shot. Goodness me. He's got right underneath that, and he's plunked it 2/3 of the way up the lower tier of the Stretford end.
He was winding his left foot up all the time, you can see that. There's been 1 or 2 what we call misplaced shots, passes today. The crowd are being brought into the game though.
Probably a good time.
At it.
Probably a good time for Ian Robertson to tell us the latest on Harlequins and Exeter.
Little comeback by Exeter, 2 penalties by Gareth Steenson in the space of 4 minutes, so from 7-0 to Harlequins. Now Exeter trail 7 points to 6, and we've got 20 minutes to half time.
Van Persie heading forward with head down to the right hand side to Valencia. Red shirts pouring into the Norwich box. Valencia's cross headed away and behind by Howson for another Manchester United corner. Further developments at Sunderland, Peter Slater.
Yes, Sunderland have just scored from the penalty spot. Craig Gardner bashing the ball into the roof of the net, and it was after Senderos had pulled back Danny Graham. So 2 goals are in the space of a minute. Sunderland still losing though. It's Sunderland 1, Fulham 2.
Corner to Manchester United then. Van Persie to take this. Here it comes to the near post. Holt heads it down to the edge of the area, and it was nicked away by Snodgrass ahead of Kagawa into the United half. So 0-0 here, Manchester United 0, Norwich 0, United. I think the general consensus is that they are closing in on what would be their 20th league title, and this brilliant run that they've been on in the league, in which they've taken 41 points from the last 45 available.
Yeah, I just said earlier, John, 30, since the turn of the year. It's amazing, really.
Van Persie turns, steers it to Valencia on the right-hand side. Valencia up against Garrido, goes for the byline, then pulls the cross back to the edge of the area when no one was there in a red shirt.
Well, it's at this moment in time, I don't think De Gea's touched the ball, in anguish very much so far. Norwich have been on the defensive, but United just can't find the vital pass at the time.
Notts County 1-0 up on Carlisle. And there's been another try at Leicester. Alistair Eakin.
And Leicester are now leading Sale by 20 points to 3. Just a couple of minutes to go to half-time. This was a little grubber kick through from Dan Bowden. Thompson was racing after it, and he was tackled just before he reached the ball over the try line by Tom Brady, who has received a yellow card. He's in the sin bin. Leicester were awarded the penalty try. Ford converted. It's Leicester 20, Sale 3.
And there's been a goal in our featured match in League One. The league leaders, Doncaster, Derm Tanner.
And they are ahead of Doncaster, and they deserve it. Ian Hume, a wonderful goal, jinking and weaving his way past the defence and unleashing a wonderful shot. Too good for Scott Flinders. Doncaster 1, Hartlepool 0.
And a goal at the foot of League 2 too. Hamish Marshall.
Yeah, it's Plymouth 1, Barnet 1, an equaliser for Plymouth, deservedly so. Cracking effort from 25 yards. Conor Hurahan scores the goal. 10 minutes to half-time. Plymouth 1, Barnet 1.
After Phil Brown and I at Old Trafford a few weeks ago, I'm making no guesses about the nationality of Conor Hurahan, who may not be Irish. Ball's played back by Turner to goalkeeper Bunn, who clears. And now Kagawa turns away from Martin. and Kagawa just checks back onto his right foot, plays it back towards Anderson now, and Anderson looks up. He's got Carrick in the centre circle, but plays it right across towards Johnny Evans, who comes forward, and then Smalling just stands on the ball and then recovers his poise. Valencia looks for Smalling on that right hand side, still Valencia. Johnson has gone out there with him, Bradley Johnson, and still in possession, Valencia. Now to Anderson. Anderson's pass cut out on the edge of the box by Howson, and Norwich will play it away and could counter-attack here. Snodgrass looking for it, Houlihan, and now to Snodgrass, square from him to Holt. Johnson's available on the left hand side. Holt finds him, and then Garrido joins in the action as the challenge came in from Smalling. Norwich for once inside the Manchester United half. Here is the tall Pilkington, who started out his career at the Manchester United Academy. Pilkington, but it breaks down through Howson, and Manchester United now can move forward once again over the halfway line with the Japanese. Kagawa, Rooney backpedaling. Rooney receives it. Chris Hughton standing with his hands in his pockets on the edge of the coaching area as Manchester United knock it around. Carrick, and then Vidic has to slide in. Kagawa nods it infield. Rooney now. Rooney, very nearly played it past one side of Turner and beat him, but the big central defender was just able to get it away. And we're hearing confirmation that Conor Houlihan was born in Cork, so he is Irish. Pleased to hear it. Here's Houlihan to the left hand side for Norwich. Barnsley 0, Bolton 2 now. Jay Spearing has scored Bolton's second goal at Oakwell.
They're on the edge of things as well now.
Yes, they are. Another one of your old clubs, Jimmy, as it goes back towards Bassong. He then plays it forward towards Houlihan, who might have used his arm there. Just half-hearted appeals for a free kick. Nothing given from referee Swarbrick. Norwich work it to the right-hand side. Just feel that Manchester United are maybe having a little breather in the game at the moment, Jimmy.
Well, Norwich are just trying to get themselves going, I think, as an attacking force as much as anything else, because there's nothing really gone at De Gea's goal, I don't think, in this match so far, and we've played, 40 minutes?
Yep, 0-0 still. And here's Valencia now down the right with his cross over the top of Van Persie. Turner's there behind him to head it down, and Johnson completes the clearance. So 0-0 here. Relatively quiet first half, as I say, in terms of
the crowd
goals.
have been quiet as well, haven't they? There's not been a great deal to enthuse them, I don't think, in terms of goal-mouth action and so on. Manchester United have looked very pretty at times, but the final pass has let them down so often, and when it comes to the edge of the area, it's as simple as that.
So 0-0 here, and Chelsea winning 1-0 against West Brom, and a goal at Goodison. Conor McNamara.
It's come for Everton just 3.5 minutes before the break. Everton 1, Reading 0. Marouane Fellaini with a header. He was 5 yards out, crossed from the right hand side. Stuart Taylor, who saved everything thrown at him so far in his Reading debut. Not much he could do about that. Wasn't a particularly powerful header, just looped into the top corner and the goalkeeper couldn't get to it. So Everton 1, Reading 0.
It's also Southampton 0, QPR 1, Stoke 0, West Ham 0, Sunderland 1, Fulham 2, and Swansea 0, Newcastle 0 as we approach half-time. A number of supporters getting to their feet and applauding, Manchester United fans, as Kagawa now just looks up. He's got Evra here on the left-hand side. Rooney came short for him. No one in the penalty area at the moment for United. And then it goes back towards Carrick. Square from him. And Evans joins in inside the Norwich half. Johnny Evans. Smalling now on the right-hand side. Here's Valencia. Norwich have got everyone apart from Grant Holt behind the ball in their defensive third. Evans to Anderson. Anderson is closed down. Norwich working very hard. Evans again to Valencia. This is on the right-hand side for United. Smalling now. Smalling then back to Valencia once more. And now Carrick again. It's up to United to find some sort of spark, a little bit of imagination to try and get through Norwich City here. Vidic has joined in as well, halfway inside the Norwich half. There's only Johnny Evans back on the halfway line. Carrick, Manchester United playing it from side to side to side. Carrick, now ball into the area to Kagawa, plays it back to Carrick, and then the final pass from Carrick was cut out by Johnson.
There it is again. How many times has that happened? They've got themselves in a position and they give the ball away, and Carrick above anybody really. Just a bit casual.
Half-time in the Leicester Sale game, and a try as well, Alistair Eakin.
Yes, it's gone the way of Ed Slater, who scored 2 in the opening 40 minutes. This was an absolute beauty as it reached its way wide out on the right. Little dummy from the big lock forward, and he raced in from 35 metres out. He scored 2. Leicester have got 3 in all, and they are absolutely convincingly on top against the Sharks at the moment. 27 points to 3 at the break.
Still 0-0 here on 5 Live. As I say, 7 games today. You'll hear Tottenham against Arsenal, which is the centrepiece of 5 Live sport tomorrow. Commentary begins at 4 o'clock, but lots of build-up in Weekend Breakfast, and with Gary Richardson as well in Sports Week from 8:30 in the morning, when Jens Lehmann and Ledley King are going to be previewing the North London derby. Ray Wilkins is going to be on the programme as well with his take on just exactly what's going on at Chelsea. And the latest that's going on at Chelsea is that they are 1-0 up presently. Chelsea winning 1-0 against West Brom, and we'll be back to Mark Pugac at half-time, who's there with Nigel Spackman. But 0-0 here, Jimmy.
Yeah, I think what it is here, I think it's Norwich, you've got a 4-man in a line at the back, 4 in a line just in front, really. And Manchester United, really through their own indifference in terms of passing, really, is just not finding a way past right through it all.
Valencia now approaches the penalty area. Pilkington is there. Valencia back heels it to Smalling. There's space for him to cross. Controls into the area. Van Persie's header. It's blocked. Almost everything that Manchester United have attempted have been blocked even before it's got to Mark Bunn, which is hardly surprising because of the sheer number of bodies that there have been in the Norwich penalty area at any given time. It's Hamilton 0, Falkirk 1 in the 6th round of the Scottish Cup. Celtic are already through to the semi-finals after their 2-1 win at St Mirren. And Rangers won earlier in the 3rd division in the lunchtime kick-off, 3-1 against East Stirling to extend their lead to 23 points at the top of the table. Corner to Manchester United now, 1 out on this left-hand side. We're in the 2 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. Rooney with a corner, here it is, headed away on the edge of the 6-yard box for Norwich. Comes out to Houlihan on the edge of the box for the visitors, and Norwich are able to get it partially away. Evans battling for it, might have conceded a foul. In fact, he had his shirt pulled, says referee Swarbrick. Should have gone the other way.
Referee.
It's gone United's way. Anderson takes it short. Huddersfield have equalised at Brighton. James Vaughan again scoring for Huddersfield, as he did in the week, on loan from Norwich City. And straight to Southampton and Jonathan Ledgard.
There is an equaliser for Southampton in the final minute of the first half. Cesar couldn't hold a shot, and Ramirez coming through just lofted it over him into the net. It's Southampton 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1.
Manchester United with Valencia coming forward in added time, in towards Van Persie. Piece of control from him, and the shot in from Kagawa. He was fortunate, it fell to his feet, but the Japanese poked it into the back of the net. And it is Manchester United 1, Norwich 0, and United find a way through in added time at the end of the first half.
An absolute killer blow for Norwich, that, really. They defended so well, and the goalkeeper Mark Bunn is just down on one knee there, just saying my word. It all came off the free kick, which I think the referee was wrong. He gave it to Manchester United, but it went on from there. It came in, and somebody just got a left foot to it. It was hard to tell, actually, in a crowded penalty area, and it dropped right to the feet of Kagawa, right to him. It was Van Persie, in point of fact. Just got a touch to it, that was enough, and he's managed to squeeze it in past the post. It wasn't a hard shot, but it's gone in, and it's given Manchester United a goal, really, which, on the weight of pressure they've put on in the first half, I think they deserved.
It's remarkable, really, in the context of the game, that there was a Manchester United player in the Norwich box who was unmarked in Kagawa, and it fell to him, and he prodded it in to score his first goal since September, since he scored in the 3-2 defeat here against Tottenham. As Evra is caught by a stretching Snodgrass, who's going to be yellow carded.
Evra's all right. Evra's okay. He's writhing around, but I think he's okay. But anyway, Snodgrass has got booked.
And Evra, well, Snodgrass is still protesting. I think it's about the way that Evra reacted.
Get up.
Yeah.
When you're badly injured, you don't roll all over the place like that, when you're badly injured.
Well, Evra is now pulling down his sock, I think, to show Snodgrass and anyone else who's interested in the fact that there is a scar of some sort there. And the assistant is on. And Grant Holt now comes across to say his part. So Evra receives treatment. Burnley have also scored right at the end of the first half at Charlton. Charlie Austin with his 25th of the season for Burnley in all competitions. And it's Hearts 0, Motherwell 2 at half-time. Manchester United winning 1-0 against Norwich City, and Kagawa the goal scorer. There's also been a late goal at Stoke. Pat Murphy.
It's gone to West Ham. A splendid finish from Jack Collison, who came on for the injured Taylor. It was set up by Vaz Tay, and he had a lot of space, and the game seemed to freeze for at least a few seconds. A good finish. Stoke 0, West Ham 1.
Rather unusually, Sir Alex Ferguson is set off for the dressing rooms early. He's walking along the touchline all by himself. He actually just comes to a halt 10 yards away from the corner flag because United are coming forward, and Van Persie curls the shot goalwards, which is wide and high and behind. And Sir Alex is the first man to the tunnel with his team winning 1-0 with that late goal from Kagawa.
Yes, I think Manchester United deserve the lead as much as anything. Norwich are a little bit upset with the referee over initial free kick. I'm pretty sure that the injury there, I'm pretty sure he's going to be all right, Patrice Evra. But he did get a knock, but I'm pretty sure he's okay. Manchester United just falling down at the vital time, but they've got the goal, and that's all that matters. And problems now are all for Chris Hughton.
Yeah, Evra is walking away. He's walking towards the dressing room. We'll see if he comes out for the second half. So Kagawa's goal just before half-time, and Manchester United winning 1-0 against Norwich City.
Thank you very much indeed, Jimmy Armfield and John Murray. Half-time here at Stamford Bridge after a difficult few days for Chelsea. They are in control here, leading West Brom by 1-0, scored after 28 minutes by Demba Ba. Oscar with a deep cross, and Luis stealing around the back post, headed it back across goal, and Demba Ba knocked it in for his 4th goal for Chelsea. Oscar, Hazard and Mata, the three amigos in midfield, very prominent. West Brom have defended manfully. Ridgewell, Reed and Olsen, all with vital blocks, but they have barely threatened the Chelsea goal at all, Nigel Spatman. And Chelsea have impressed today.
Chelsea have impressed. The crowd has been good so far as well, I have to say that. But at times you want them to play with a little bit more tempo, Chelsea. It's quite slow, but when it gets to the likes of Hazard, Mata, Oscar, they look a really good team going forward. And Bar obviously got that goal. But sometimes you just look with Chelsea and say, can we up the tempo in the second half? The thing is with West Brom, they haven't got Lukaku today, so how do they affect this game? They don't have a lot of pace in their team to threaten Chelsea.
Chelsea completely in control then here, leading 1-0 against West Brom as we go to the big game at the bottom at St Mary's, and a late goal there, Jonathan Ledyard.
Completely transformed it. Southampton 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1. The pantomime boos for Harry Redknapp's return had diminished because his QPR team had led from the 15th minute, and then in stoppage time, Cesar with his first save, meaningful save of the half, failed to hold a shot from substitute Rodriguez, and Ramirez just lofted the ball really coolly and cleverly over the keeper's head and into the net. Otherwise, QPR had looked quite steady, yet they'd been too careless with possession, and they'd only really kept Southampton at bay because of Chris Sambo, who's easily earning his hefty wage packet and more. He has been a towering presence in his orange boots. Lambert's hardly had a kick, but then Cesar let them down, and there is still plenty of tension still to come in this second half. Southampton 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1.
As we go to Goodison Park, late goal there, Conor McNamara.
Yes, Everton 1, Reading 0. Marouane Fellaini's 12th goal of the season for Everton, a close range header just before half-time. Reading had hit the woodwork, but the game was still 0-0. Adam Lafondra was unlucky with his shot, but Fellaini's header has Everton in front, and they're hoping for their first win in the Premier League for a month. Fellaini almost had a second just before the whistle for half-time. Spectacular fashion. You might remember Goy Kachea's goal for Spain against Germany in the World Cup in '94 from a ridiculous wide angle. Surely it was meant to be a cross. It almost went in. It was tipped over for a corner. Everton 1, Reading 0.
And to the Liberty Stadium, the home of the League Cup winners, Andy Gillies.
Swansea 0, Newcastle 0. Although Swansea should probably be ahead, they have carved out the better chances, and only a goal line clearance early on from Stephen Taylor prevented them taking the lead. Michu headed down to Guzman's free kick. Williams turned it goalwards. Taylor intervened. Meacher and Monk have both headed over the bar. Elliott in the goal fumbled de Guzman's long-range effort. Newcastle did have a reasonable spell of possession in the latter stages of the half, but they were not able seriously to trouble the Swansea goal. Swansea 0, Newcastle 0.
As we go to Stoke against West Ham, and a late goal here as well, Pat Murphy.
To West Ham, the 1-0 up, created by the two people who came on early on as substitutes. Vazte, good work, excellent movement by Collison, fine finish. They come on because Matt Taylor was kicked in the face accidentally by Crouch, and Joe Cole was also sacrificed in the tactical reshuffle. They deserve it, West Ham. Diame superb in midfield, and Reed at the back, excellent. They're not happy, the Stoke fans have created very little, if at all, in this first half. Stoke 0, West Ham 1.
And we're possibly pleasantly surprised by how much action there's been at the Stadium of Light, Peter Slater.
Yeah, there I was anticipating a goal as straw market. Sunderland 1, Fulham 2 at half-time. 2 penalties. The first 2 Fulham on the quarter hour. De Jager foul by Gardner. Referee Mark Halsey taking a long time to make up his mind, but replays suggest there was contact. A very cheeky, very calm penalty from Berbatov. Worth watching that on Match of the Day tonight. Fulham then scored from a corner. A Sunderland corner, incisive break. Ruiz to De Jager. Mignolet palmed it out, and Sasha Rita following up couldn't miss. 2 minutes later, Sunderland penalty. Senderos pulling back Danny Graham. Craig Gardner smacking the ball into the roof of the net. Sunderland much improved since then, but goodness me, they had to be. Sessegnon's forced a save from Mark Schwartz at half-time. It's Sunderland 1, Fulham 2.
In the William Hill Scottish Cup quarter-finals, a result from lunchtime: St Mirren 1, Celtic 2. Half-time, Hamilton 0, Falkirk 1. Clydesdale Scottish Premier League half-time, Hearts 0, Motherwell 2. And in the race for second at Ross County, Ian Turner.
It's 0-0, and that's just about what both sides deserve here in the Highlands. Okonomu had a net-bound 18-yard pile driver turned away for a county corner, and at the other end Ross Draper saw his angled shot cleared off the line, and but for a bit of embarrassing verbal and finger jousting between managers Derek Adams and Terry Butcher, that's been about it. Must do better. Ross County 0, Inverness 0.
Into the Empower Championship, Leeds beat Millwall by a goal to 0, a Stephen Warnock penalty. That was at lunchtime. Middlesbrough Cardiff has something of a little bit of a surprise ring to it at the moment, Steve May.
Yes, it's Borough 2, Cardiff 0. Kieran Dyer and Sammy Amiobi scoring their first goals for Borough. Amiobi on his debut, but Malcolm Mackay won't be happy with the way that Dyer was unmarked 2 yards out when he scored, and Amiobi was able to waltz through the penalty area before curling one through Marshall. Miller really should have made it number 3, but took the wrong option, taking the ball on himself when 2 others inside him were unmarked. But certainly signs late on in the first half that Cardiff were waking up when Whittingham's 12-yard drive was spectacularly turned over by Steele's fist. But nevertheless, Cardiff's 9-match unbeaten away run looking a bit shaky right now. Borough 2, Cardiff 0.
Hull City 3 down in 8 minutes the other day at Bolton, 3 up in no time at all today, Stuart Pike.
Yeah, so they lead Birmingham 3-0 at half-time. 50 seconds, the first goal that set the tone. George Boyd on his home debut, rounding the keeper Butland. 10 minutes later, Ghetto is 4th in 5, terrific pace, and then firing a low shot past Butland into the back of the net, and Boyd with his second, 12 minutes before half-time, placing his shot into the bottom corner. The alarm bells may be starting to ring for Birmingham, only 6 points clear of the drop zone. They've been poor. Hull 3, Birmingham 0.
And we haven't heard a lot from Simon Mann in the first half at Portman Road, which maybe tells the story in itself.
It pretty much does, Mark. Ipswich 0, Leicester 0. Thin pickings for those seeking excitement. We had to wait 23 minutes for a chance. Harry Kane then missed twice for Leicester in 4 minutes. Ipswich, who defended tenaciously, then had a spell of pressure and some half chances. Just before half-time, Kane had the ball in the net, but the flag was up quite early for offside. So not much going on in the first half. Pitch isn't great, and it's affecting the flow of the game. Ipswich 0, Leicester 0.
Other half-times in the Championship: Barnsley 0, Bolton 2, Blackburn 0, Peterborough 3, Blackpool 0, Bristol City 0, Brighton 1, Huddersfield 1, Charlton 0, Burnley 1, Sheffield Wednesday, Nottingham Forest is a 5:20 kick-off. League 1, Brentford 0, Scunthorpe 0, Bury 0, Crawley 1, Coventry 1, Swindon 0. Crewe 0, Portsmouth 2, Leyton Orient 1, Bournemouth 0, MK Dons 1, Preston 1, Notts County 1, Carlisle 0, Oldham Sheffield United is goalless, as is Stevenage, Colchester and Yeovil Tranmere. Walsall 1, Shrewsbury 0, which leaves Doncaster, Hartlepool, Durham, Tanner.
And we have a goal because an excellent individual effort from Ian Hume from Doncaster gives the league leaders the lead. Hume had so much to do to get his goal as well. He ran hard and true at the Hartlepool defence, swerving and jinking his way past it. Then Then came the finish, equally as good, low into the bottom corner. The goal had been coming for all Hartlepool's really good hard work. Doncaster have been turning up the heat. Hume and Coppinger impressive up front. Lundstrom hitting the foot of the post just before half-time. It could have been worse for Hartlepool to come back from. As it is, Doncaster lead by just the one goal at half-time.
And in League 2 half-time, Accrington 0, Torquay 0, Aldershot 0, Gillingham 0, Bristol Rovers 1, Burton 0, Cheltenham 1, Wimbledon 0, Dagenham 0, Chesterfield 1, Exeter 1, Northampton 0, Morecambe 1, Rochdale 0, Oxford 1, Port Vale 1, Southend 0, Rotherham 0, Wickham 0, Fleetwood 0, York 0, Bradford 0. Down amongst the bottom dwellers though, Plymouth and Barnet. Hamish Marshall.
It's 1-1, two sides fighting for the Football League survival, doing it in contrasting ways, but so far to equal effect. Barnet have been content to play on the break. They took the lead with their only effort on goal through Jake Hyde. Plymouth had been unable to create too much, but then their captain Conor Hourihane stepped up to the plate. A 25-yard cracker into the top corner. Lots at stake in a game neither side can really afford to lose. Plymouth 1, Barnet 1.
Ambrose Scottish First Division half-times. Dumbarton 0, Cowdenbeath 1, Dunfermline 0, Partick 4, Livingston 3, Airdrie 0, Second Division Albion 0, Alloa 3, Arbroath 1, Ayr 2, East Fife 0, Queen of the South 1, 4-3 Stranraer 0, Stenhousemuir 1, Brechin 1, Third Division Annan 0, Berwick 1, Clyde 0, Peterhead 0, Elgin 1, Stirling 2, Queen's Park 1, Montrose 0. Rangers beat East Stirling 3-1 in a lunchtime kickoff. And Blue Square Bet Premier half-times. Barrow 1, Tamworth 0, Cambridge 0, Forest Green 0, Gateshead 0, Braintree 1, Hereford 0, Nuneaton 0, Hyde 0, Newport 1, Kidderminster 1, Ebbsfleet 1, Mansfield 0, Telford 0, Southport 1, Dartford 1, Stockport 0, Luton 1, Woking 1, Lincoln 1 and Wrexham 1, Alfreton 0. Into Rugby Union's Premiership, to the Stoop, Ian Robertson.
The half-time whistle has just gone and it's been a shaky first half for Harlequins. They led after 7 minutes, tried by Ugo Monye, converted by Nick Evans, but then Gareth Steenson kicked in the space of 12 minutes, 3 penalties in succession to lead 9-7, but just 5 minutes ago Nick Evans kicked a penalty for Harlequins, so they lead at half-time by 10 points to 9 as Harlequins 10, Exeter 9.
And the European Indoor Athletics from Gothenburg, Mike Costello.
Where it's all gone very flat for the British team in the last 10 minutes or so. In the men's high jump, Robbie Grabars has just had a third successive failure at 2 metres and 27 centimetres, and so the Olympic bronze medalist from London 2012 will finish only in 6th position. Shara Proctor was in the bronze medal position in the women's long jump final until the final round, when she was relegated to 4th place by the Swede Erika Jada. And in the women's pole vault, Holly Bleasdale, the favourite going in, has one more attempt at 4 metres and 67 centimetres. She has the pole in her hand, and if she doesn't go clear at this height, she will be in 4th place and outside the medals, and that will mean a session in which Britain expected to win 3 medals. They will be left with none. Better news on the track, Alison Kirbishley. Perry Shake Straighten in the semi-finals of the 400 metres.
Much brighter news, Mike. Perry looked absolutely fantastic, dominating her second semi-final in an amazing 51.03. She's going to smash the 51 second barrier. It's about Perry versus the clock tomorrow, because Stalova's out, the Russian European lead coming into this, but she really is going to be all about Perry tomorrow.
And Holly Bleasdale is on the run-up now towards the pole vault cushion, 4 metres and 67 centimetres, and she's gone clear. Holly Bleasdale is the first athlete clear at 4 metres and 67 centimetres, and joining now Anna Rogoska, joint leaders in the women's pole vault competition. So Holly Bleasdale salvages her medal chances here. A third attempt at 4.67. She's the joint leader.
Thank you very much, Mike Costello. Half-time in the Bernabéu La Liga. Real 1, Barcelona 1. A much-changed Real Madrid, a team. Messi equalising after Benzema put Real in front. And the 15-2 shot, Quentin Collonge earned a likely tilt at next month's Scottish Grand National when holding off Mr Moss to win today's William Hill Grimthorpe Chase at Doncaster. Aintree Grand National hope joined together was pulled up after being badly hampered. Right, it's 2 minutes past 4. It's time for the news. Here's Faye Carruthers.
On digital Digital radio, digital TV, mobile and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
A call by the Defence Secretary Philip Hammond for his department's budget to be spared further cuts has been backed by his predecessor Liam Fox. Both men say the welfare budget should be targeted instead, but some Liberal Democrat MPs say they would resist that. NATO forces in Afghanistan have admitted they mistakenly shot dead 2 Afghan boys during an operation near Kandahar. The alliance says troops opened fire thinking they were insurgents. Foreign Office officials in Kenya are helping a group of British tourists who've been injured in a coach crash near Mombasa Airport. The vehicle skidded and rolled down an embankment. Engineers are assessing the state of sections of the ancient walls surrounding the town of Ludlow in Shropshire because of fears they could fall down. A number of people have been advised to leave their homes and have been offered emergency accommodation. Finally, a senior official of football's world governing body has called for a zero-tolerance approach to dealing with racism in the sport. The new head of FIFA's anti-racism task force, Geoffrey Webb, says the current rules aren't working. He wants teams to face relegation or bans from competitions like the World Cup.
This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Pugach.
Second half underway here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 1 up on West Brom, and there's been no real visible anti-Rafa Benitez chance at all really today, as Chelsea completely in control here and threatening a second goal every single time they go forward. Lampard's shot there is blocked. Of course, he's on 199 goals. The nervous 190s, John Murray, that you're very familiar with from your cricket days.
Yeah, I wish. Ryan Giggs is on the nervous 999s. Here at Old Trafford, but if you weren't listening earlier, he's not involved today, Giggs. He's been sitting in the director's box. The teams are out, and Evra is out as well after he got that. He was the recipient of that tackle from Snodgrass at the end of the first half, but he's frolicking around like a spring lamb, Jimmy, over there, Evra.
Yeah, I got it. I was right anyway. I could see he wasn't hurt. When they go rolling over, invariably, they're okay. But he is. You're absolutely right. I could tell. But I thought in the first half, Manchester United, they kept the ball, they kept the possession, just falling down at the vital time, and I think that's what Alex Ferguson would say, more control in that part of the game, please, in the second half.
Second half begins, Manchester United winning 1-0 against Norwich City and on course for a 15-point lead again at the top of the table, with Manchester City playing at Aston Villa on Monday night in what will be one of our many commentary matches over the course of the next 7 days. This is actually the first of 6 consecutive days of football commentaries here on 5 Live. Manchester United 1-0 up through that Kagawa goal in the second minute of added time. Rooney now coming forward but challenged, and Johnson took the ball, so Norwich have got it back even though Rooney was left sprawling on the grass. United's team today, ahead of the visit of Real Madrid on Tuesday, is De Gea, Smalling, Vidic, Evans and Evra, Valencia, Carrick, Anderson and Kagawa, Rooney and Van Persie. The Norwich team, Bunn, Martin, Bassong, Turner and Garrido, Johnson and Howson, Snodgrass, Houlihan, Pilkington and Holt. Norwich in the first half, Jimmy, barely out of their own half.
Well, De Gea hasn't had, I wouldn't have thought, a quieter first 45 minutes as they had. And yet they started so well. They had a wonderful chance, really. Johnson just over-hitting the ball with Holt on the back post, all on his own. After that, I don't know, it was self-belief as much as anything, I felt. They kept backpedaling and backpedaling. United pushed them back, of course, as you expect here. But, if I'd have been Chris Hughton, I'd have said, come on, let's have a go at this.
I think De Gea will be a little bit busier here on Tuesday night. Well, he couldn't be any less. Here's Vidic in the United right-back position, but being put under pressure, and he's conceded a throw-in. So United quickly back into position. Pilkington might have been handed off there by Smalling as he played it past him. Certainly Smalling just put an arm up against him, but referee Swarbrick turns the other way and runs away. So it's just a goal kick.
Yes, sarcastic cheers from the Norwich fans there when he gave the initial free kick to Norwich there.
And as we mentioned at the end of the first half, it was a free kick that Manchester United were giving that led indirectly to the goal that United scored just before half-time. Free kick that we felt, you and I, Jimmy, that should have gone to Norwich. Here is Pilkington for Norwich, playing it over the top, but way beyond Holt and Houlihan, and it's through to De Gea. Are we assuming, Jimmy, that Giggs is going to be in the starting lineup then against Real Madrid on Tuesday night?
Well, you can't assume anything with Alec, can you, really? Because reading his mind, is not very easy. And I think he's playing playing the game a little bit with Mourinho. But I think, Ryan Giggs is well capable of doing that, and really it'd be a fantastic moment for Giggs as well, and the perfect time really, to have the 1000th game against Real Madrid at Old Trafford.
Remember, didn't he go past Bobby Charlton in the Champions League final, didn't he, in terms of the Manchester United number of record appearances? Here's Houlihan now working on the left-hand side for Norwich City, who themselves are parked inside the Manchester United half at the start of this second period.
He's the one player to me who's got that little bit of guile, Houlihan. He, of course, was at Blackpool for a while. I saw him there. But he's a clever player, very left-footed. But he's the one who looks as though he just might do something for Norwich. There's not been much else, really, in terms of continuity in attacking terms.
Leighton Orient 2-0 up on Bournemouth as Manchester United come forward through Van Persie. Van Persie finds Howson in front of him, so goes back to the halfway line, and we'll take it to Plymouth and Hamish Marshall.
Plymouth have turned this game on their head. They now lead by 2-1. The goal that's put them in front from Ronan Murray comes just 4 minutes into the second half. Bobbed around in the penalty area. He was free at the back post, put it in. Plymouth 2, Barnet 1.
Manchester United winning 1-0 against Norwich here as World Service listeners join us on 5 Live. So 5 Live in the World Service from the BBC for the remainder of this game here, early stages of the second half. Elsewhere in the Barclays Premier League, Chelsea winning 1-0 against West Brom. It's Everton 1, Reading 0, Southampton 1, QPR 1, Stoke 0, West Ham 1, Sunderland 1, Fulham 2, and Swansea 0, Newcastle 0. Also Walsall 2-0 up on Shrewsbury, and Bury 0, Crawley 2. Also, Barnsley have got a goal back against Bolton at Oakwell. Thomas Sivka for Barnsley. So Barnsley 1, Bolton 2. A try in the second half at Welford Road, Alistair Eakin.
It is all Leicester. They lead Sale 34-3 now with half an hour left to play. It came from turnover ball at the line out. Tom Croft, who's been absolutely magnificent today, securing the ball, and it was then spread wide. Matt Smith scoring in the corner. That's their bonus point. They lead Sale 34-3.
We'll hear more in the second half as well from Gothenburg, from Mike Costello at the Athletics. But 1-0 to Manchester United. And here is Houlihan trying to get away from Smalling on the left-hand side. Smalling just put a hand in his back. Houlihan played it back towards Johnson. Square from Johnson towards Howson. Had a little look up. Howson now chips it towards the right-hand side. And Russell Martin with a cross to the near post. A stretch there from Snodgrass. Vidic went with him. And the final touch was off Vidic and behind for a corner. Norwich's first of the game.
Well, that was much better from Norwich. Bit of self-belief as much as anything, I thought. Nice little pass down the right-hand side. Ball came over. And I just think that Vidic, had he not been there, I think Norwich might have scored on the near post. Just got his foot to the ball. Just got it behind for a corner kick. Well, that's much better. Corner kick, though, to Norwich.
League Two leaders Gillingham are behind at Aldershot. Gillingham lost in the week and they're 1-0 down at Aldershot. Corner to Norwich from the right-hand side. Snodgrass has backed away down the slope there and now up it and plays it in left-footed onto the head of Vidic, who heads it up and out towards the right-hand side. And Snodgrass is able to take it down under pressure. Excellent piece of skill from him. Turns onto his right foot against Smalling, who challenges him inside the area and takes the ball cleanly. He had to get it right there inside the box, and he did. Smalling out for a throw. Throw to Norwich near the corner flag. No Ferdinand today, by the way, for Manchester United. He's not very well, we hear. We'll perhaps find out later what his chances are of being involved and available for selection on Tuesday night. Flu was the word that was used. We'll see. Now Norwich with the ball on the right, but the cross is over the top from Howson, over the top of Holt inside the area.
That's a nice little, it's a clever little throw in there. Little pass inside. The player who takes the throw in makes the run on the outside. Played back and the chance was there. Just slightly overhit the cross coming over.
1-0 to Manchester United here on 5 Live in the World Service. On Sports Extra, by the way, you can hear commentary on Middlesbrough, who are 2-0 up on the Championship leaders Cardiff, on Sports Extra, on digital radio, or via your BBC iPlayer radio app. Ball is played forward for United to really inside the box. Bunn comes out to his right, and he had to get that right as well, and he did, the Norwich goalkeeper, to get the ball as well as the man and deflect it behind for a corner.
Yes, it was a lovely through ball. Rooney got there actually just before the goalkeeper. That's why he did well. He just got the toe poke to it, Bunn corrected his position, beautiful clearance.
Could have been big trouble for Norwich if he'd got that slightly wrong, but he didn't, Mark Bunn. Cross looked as though it hit the defender's arm. Everett takes it up inside the box. Everett to the byline. Ball to the near post, and Bunn is there to drop on it. And another goal at Hull, Stuart Pike.
And Hull are going back second in the Championship. They lead 4-0. Robert Corran, the captain, with a terrific 25-yarder. Jack Butland got a hand to it, but couldn't keep it out. Hull City 4, Birmingham 0.
And another try at Leicester, Alistair Eakin.
2 in the space of 5 minutes for Matt Smith. This from short range, little pop pass from George Ford-Smith under the sticks. That's Leicester's 5th of the afternoon. Getting a little messy for Sale, still with 25 minutes left to play. It's Leicester 41, Sale Sharks 3.
Manchester United well on top in this game in terms of possession, but only 1-0 because of that goal from Kagawa shortly before half-time. So we'll head round all of the matches in the Premier League that are currently underway as Van Persie is caught offside. So to Mark Pugac and Nigel Spackman again at Stamford Bridge first.
Still 1-0 to Chelsea. Barr's goal after 28 minutes. Lampard scored, but he was offside, and the flag went up very, very early. Nigel Spackman is with me as Mata dances into the penalty area. As you said at half-time, they need to play with a bit more pace, Chelsea.
Yeah, that's how you break teams down, by doing it with pace. It's a bit flat, but they're having all the attacking, all the possession. Just got to wait for that second goal. But at the moment, you have to say West Brom have been defending extremely well once again.
58 minutes gone. Chelsea 1, West Brom 0.
Great deal at stake at the bottom end of the Premier League for Southampton and QPR. Jonathan Ledyard.
Southampton 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Samba again continuing where he left off in the first half, blocking Fox, and then Font with just a long shot a few moments ago. Better from the home team, buoyed by that equaliser just before half-time. 1-1 against Queen's Park Rangers.
Liberty Stadium next, and Andy Gillis.
Still Swansea 0, Newcastle 0. Great save early on in this half by Elliott from Routledge, but Newcastle have had 2 terrific chances in the last moments, both blasted over the bar. The first from Cisse, the second an even better chance, and Gouffran put that one over. Swansea 0, Newcastle 0.
Everton will be our next port of call, but we're going to see Norwich with a free kick first of all, 4 to the centre circle. So set piece here. Manchester United winning 1-0, but Norwich with this free kick that will be played right through the middle by Snodgrass. He does now. In it goes towards Bassong, who heads it goalwards, but was being challenged there by Rooney, and the ball just loops through for De Gea to take the catch quite easily. So to Goodison Park and Conor McNamara.
Still Everton 1, Reading 0. Fellaini's goal just before half-time, but I've been impressed with Stuart Taylor, who's making his debut for Reading. He's really their third choice goalkeeper, but thrust in today, former Aston Villa and Manchester City keeper, of course. He just denied Jelavic from point-blank range a few moments ago. Ian Hart was on hand to make sure that Fellaini wasn't able to follow up with the rebound. And I'm very proud of this stat, John. I think you like this, that since Stuart Taylor last played in a Premier League game, Chelsea have had 8 managers. It's Everton 1, Reading 0.
Well, I suppose some people might think it maybe would have been more, but thank you for that, Conor. Here is Rooney for Manchester United. Go to Stoke next, but Valencia now with it on the right-hand side. Valencia's cross blocked by combination of 2 defenders and out for a throw-in. Cheltenham are now 2-0 up on struggling Wimbledon, and Walsall 3, Shrewsbury 0. United take this throw, but Kagawa, his attempted pass back to Valencia, is cut out, and Norwich have won themselves a throw now.
They've worked hard at the back, Norwich. The players have worked hard. They've followed runners. They can see that they've been coached for doing that. They're strong. They stood firm. The problem now is, though, they've got to try and find a route back into this game somehow.
Barnsley have come from 2-0 down at home to Bolton to make it 2-2. Chris O'Grady with Barnsley second. It's Hearts 1, Motherwell 2 now. John Sutton for Hearts. Another goal at Doncaster, Derm Tanner.
And another goal for Doncaster Rovers. They lead 2-0 against Hartlepool now, and a beautifully taken goal from James Coppinger. Crisp and efficient, half chance in the box, and he really did well to finish it. Looks like it's theirs now. 2-0 to Doncaster Rovers.
Right, let's bring in Pat Murphy from the Britannia Stadium, man.
West Ham still leading due to that.
Gone. They are winning 1-0. West Ham, I believe. I think is the latest score. Unless I'm very much mistaken, it is Stoke 0, West Ham 1. We'll hear from Pat in a moment. But here's Peter Slater on Wearside.
Quarter of an hour played, second half, still Fulham lead 2-1. Sunderland pressing for an equaliser. Danny Graham, not quite enough power on the shot when he was put through, and Mark Schwarzer managed to save it. Then Alfred Ndai, the January signing, with a shot just past the angle, but beware Fulham on the break. They still lead by 2-1.
Straight back to Goodison Park, Conor McNamara.
Stephen Pienaar has scored a quite wonderful goal to double Everton's lead here. He weaved into a shooting position on the edge of the penalty area, pulled it onto his left boot, and then a rocket to the top corner, and nothing Stuart Taylor could do about that. 59 minutes on the clock, Everton 2, Reading 0.
Right, so that's how it stands in the Barclays Premier League. The 5:30 kick-off is Wigan against Liverpool, and we'll update you on that on 5 Live during the course of Sports Report with Mark from Stamford Bridge, and then 6:06, which is with Mark Chapman and Robbie Savage tonight. Yeovil winning 1-0 against Tranmere at the top end of League One. The Norwich supporters doing their best to urge their team on. Only 1-0 down here. Johnson plays it to Pilkington on the left-hand side. Across comes Evan with the challenge to block it behind for a corner to Norwich.
The sheer persistence as much as anything. They defended very well. They defended right the way through the match very well. It's a good run down the left-hand side by Johnson. Pilkington picked the ball up and he's won a corner kick off it. And it's off one of these dead ball situations that Norwich just might be able to find a route back into the match. Let's see.
Basong is a threat, Turner's a threat as well. Pilkington takes it towards Basong, who heads it goalwards, but it's actually nodded away by Carrick there before it even reached De Gea, and then it bounces down and Vidic swivels and punts it out of play, and it bounces up off the hoardings in front of the Sir Alex Ferguson stand. Norwich attacking towards the Stretford end in the second half, and the ball with them on the right. Oldham 0, Sheffield United 1 at Boundary Park. Here is Howson, who shoots from 20 yards and more, and it's taken a deflection, a flick off a United man, either Carrick or Anderson. Corner.
Yes, suddenly for the first time in the match really, as much as anything, Manchester United pushed back into their own penalty area. Ball came up there to Howson, be about 25 yards out on his left foot. He's a left-footed player. But it's very hard to tell from the angle we're at where he was going, but it's taken a deflection, so it's yet another corner to Norwich.
Here it comes then from the left-hand side, and lots of movement inside the box. A deep delivery. It's over the top of the run from Turner, and is just kept in by Snodgrass from going out for a goal kick. Rooney's gone with him. Rooney and Snodgrass over there together. Snodgrass one way and the other. Then the good ball in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Evra diving, heads it away, and Manchester United dealt with that well. Comes out to Rooney, and then Smalling passes it away towards the halfway line. Really dangerous looking cross from Snodgrass.
It was a great clearance that by Evra. Very good. You know, he's under real pressure on the edge of the 6-yard box.
Morecambe 2-0 up on Rochdale. And let's head back to Gothenburg now and to Mike Costello at the European Athletics,
where Holly Bleasdale will take a share of the gold medal in the women's pole vault because she has cleared 4 metres and 67 centimetres. So too Anna Rogowska of Poland, and they've been declared as the joint leaders at the moment.
Thank you, Mike. And Exeter now 2-0 up on Northampton in League 2. Into the last half hour of this match, Manchester United winning 1-0 against Norwich on BBC 5 Live and the World Service. And Norwich with Howson, who chests it down on the halfway line and plays it to the right-hand side. Russell Martin is there, comes back to him, and now Houlihan gets involved. He's all busyness. Where's Houlihan? Arms swirling, plays it to Basong now in the centre circle. Norwich more in the game certainly than they were in the first half, and knocking it around now with Garrido and Houlihan. Number of passes. Howson now finds a little bit of space opening up for him, and he will carry it forward halfway inside the United half. Then out comes Evra with the challenge on Howson, and eventually the ball rolls out of play on the far side for a throw-in to the home side.
Yeah, the ball had to go first time there. He was running, there was a run down the right-hand side, but you know, he took that one extra touch. You can't do that, you know, at top level, and Evra was in there to clear it.
Stevenage 0, Colchester 1, and Bristol Rovers 2, Burton 0 now. Still Norwich come forward. Johnson on his left foot. Plays it now to Pilkington, left side of the area, just outside the box. Pilkington looks up, then tries to play it in towards the back post, where it's nodded across, and a stretch over the top. I think it was Russell Martin who was in there, you know. It was the right back who was closest to scoring for Norwich City. It was a stretch. but I think you'd have to say he should have scored there.
I'd have backed myself to put that in. I mean, truthfully, when he was headed down, what he was doing, he was reaching for it on the back post. The ball came across Manchester United because Holt's header just put it right across the 6-yard box, and what he did, he finished up stretching for it, and he's put it over the bar. That was a real let-off for Manchester United, but a golden chance for Norwich gone.
Well, your back is a little bit better, isn't it, Jimmy?
Yeah.
As Smalling plays the ball through for Van Persie, but Bunn is out to gather that ball, and he's taken another knock from Van Persie there and stays down.
Yeah, well, I don't think he's that great. I thought he limped a bit in the first half. But what a chance that was for Norwich just before that. It was a lovely ball onto the back post, and Holt, who's always a threat in the air, headed it down across the 6-yard box. And really, well, Martin didn't do anything about it, really. That was the end of it.
This fixture was one of our commentary matches last season.
Yep.
If you remember, Pilkington, Manchester United were winning 1-0, and Pilkington had a great chance to score for Norwich, didn't take it, and eventually Manchester United scored a second, and in the end won quite comfortably. But that really was a chance for Norwich to make it 1-1, not taken. Going back to Harlequins and Ian Robertson.
And amazingly, Exeter have taken the lead again 3 minutes into the half. A fourth penalty by Gareth Steenson, but just as I speak, Ben Botica has kicked a penalty this very second. So again, it's Harlequins in the lead. 13-12, Harlequins lead Exeter.
And more from Mike Costello in Sweden at the Athletics,
where Holly Bleasdale and Anna Rogowska of Poland both failed 3 successive times at 4 metres and 72 centimetres, but instead of sharing the gold medal on the agreement of both athletes, the bar has been put back up at 4 metres and 72 centimetres, and they are going to try to decide an outright winner of the women's pole vault competition. And just a few moments ago, James Dasaolu of Britain made it through to the final of the men's 60 metres with the fastest of the qualifying times, a lifetime best for him, 6.52 seconds.
Thank you, Mike. Still Manchester United 1-0 up on Norwich through Kagawa's goal at the end of the first half. Cheltenham 2-1 up on Wimbledon now, goal back for Wimbledon. It's Morecambe 3, Rochdale 0. And Bolton back in front at Barnsley now. Craig Dawson has scored again for Bolton. What a start to life at Bolton for him, as Rooney now carries it to the edge of the area, shoots from 12 yards when Van Persie was angry there that he didn't try and find it, shot wide.
Yes, he showed his discontent as well at Rooney there. It's unlike Rooney that, because his vision is terrific, Rooney. He sees exactly what's on all the time. He's cutting in from the right-hand side. He drove it across the 6-yard box going nowhere. And really, well, I think Alec Ferguson's had enough, because he's going to make the change. Here comes Welbeck.
And while they do that, Conor McNamara at Goodison.
It's now Everton 3, Reading 0. It's Kevin Morales' goal, and surely Everton now about to claim their first league win since January. Morales played into the penalty area, beautiful pass from Pienaar. He had all the time in the world to pick his spot, and we've still got quarter of the game to go. Everton 3, Reading 0.
Well, that's the end of Robin Van Persie's afternoon here. He trots off the field, replaced by Welbeck. He was involved in the goal, Jimmy, but other than that,
not too. But I mean, we were saying at half-time he must have had 3 shots in the first half, and most of them, were halfway up the Stretford end.
Yeah, just a little off beam at the moment, but still very much a contender for Player of the Year, no question. Crewe 1, Portsmouth 2, a goal back for Crewe, and Falkirk now 2-0 up at Hamilton in the 6th round of the Scottish Cup. By the way, for Craig Dawson, that's now 5 goals in 4 appearances for Bolton, who are 3-2 up at Barnsley. Here's Welbeck, straight into the action on the left-hand side for Manchester United. Shoots, took a deflection, took it to Valencia. Valencia has yet to score this season. Welbeck, and now Carrick. Kaga with a touch, and then Turner is able to play it away on the edge of the box. So Manchester United winning 1-0 here, 5 live in the World Service. Run through the other latest scores in a moment, but Valencia plays it now to Smalling near the corner flag. Smalling's cross, headed away by Turner on the edge of the box. For the first time now in the second half, Manchester United putting Norwich under some pressure. Smalling, back to Carrick. I think that chance that Russell Martin missed might have just sparked them. Anderson, his pass is missed by Rooney and Evra and Martin, and it's through for a goal kick. Leyton Orient 2, Bournemouth 1 now, a goal back for Bournemouth. I'll do better than just updating the Premier League scores. We'll go round them. Stamford Bridge, Mark Pugach.
20 minutes ago, Chelsea 1, West Brom 0. Still all Chelsea really, but they haven't come that close to a second. A few minutes ago, a chant for Jose Mourinho. Benitez picked the ball up when it rolled out of play. He got a boo. And then a rather half-hearted chant of "We'll sing what we want." Rafa Benitez will sing what we want. It's all a bit low-key. Chelsea leading by a goal to 0 with 20 minutes to go.
Everton 3-0 up on Reading, as we heard from Connor. Back to Peter Slater at Sunderland.
Equaliser for Sunderland with 20 minutes left for play. They've been pressurising for some time. Adam Johnson really made it with a run down the left-hand side of the field. His shot not cleared properly by the Fulham defence, and Stefan Sessegnon, who's really been outstanding in the Sunderland side, planted the ball from the edge of the penalty area past Mark Schwarzer and into the corner of the net. It's 2 each on the Stadium of Light.
And on the south coast, Jonathan Ledyard.
We are still 1 each. Southampton 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Just beginning to open up in a bit, and it needs to for Queen's Park Rangers. They need to step up, because for the first 50 minutes or so, all Southampton raiding forward. At the moment, their goalkeeper, Julia Cesar, just receiving some treatment. It's 1-1, 67 minutes play.
Manchester United with Valencia on the right-hand side, goes past Johnson, then tries to go past Garrido. Well, I think there was some contact. Valencia went to ground, and it's a yellow card and a free kick. Yellow card for Garrido.
He wasn't going to get it, was he? He overran the ball. It's going to be a free kick to Manchester United. What happened was there, it was good play, and what he did, I think he was just saying really the Norwich player, just stood his ground as much as anything.
Still 1-0 Manchester United. Manchester City watching and listening on. 5 Live Sport will come from Villa Park on Monday night for Aston Villa against Manchester City. 5 Live Sport will come from Old Trafford on Tuesday night for Manchester United against Real Madrid. Then on Wednesday, commentary on Juventus against Celtic, and on Thursday, commentary on Tottenham against Inter in the Europa League. You'll hear that here on 5 Live. Hamilton have got a goal back against Falkirk. Andrew Ryan. Hamilton 1, Falkirk 2. Rooney's ball over the top down the left-hand side for Welbeck, who was, as you say, Jimmy, offside. Evra, who was offside. So free kick.
He's looking all surprised on it, really. I don't know why he's looking surprised. We could see from where we were he was offside.
It is still Stoke 0, West Ham 1, by the way, and Swansea 0, Newcastle 0.
Manchester United haven't put the game together anywhere like they did in the first half. I think they've been scratching a little bit, and I think Norwich are still in with the real chance here, while it stays as it is.
You did wonder whether it might have been a good time for Norwich to come here 3 days before Real Madrid. And Manchester United, when you think about it, Jimmy, they've created, for Manchester United, for a home game against the side in the bottom half of the Premier League, very few chances, very few clear chances.
That's right.
We're going back to Middlesbrough and Steve May.
Yeah, where Cardiff have got a goal back here. It's Middlesbrough 2, Cardiff 1. Aaron Gunnarsson's header from close range from a corner on the left-hand side by Whittingham. And could this be the Cardiff comeback? It's Borough 2, Cardiff 1.
Commentary on that continues over on 5 Live Sports Extra. And you'll need Sports Extra for the Test Series, which begins on Tuesday night, 9 o'clock. So pretty much straight after Manchester United, Real Madrid. He has Welbeck in the area on the left-hand side for United, challenged by Russell Martin, and then tripped over his own feet, and Norwich bring it away. Brentford have taken the lead against Scunthorpe. Brentford 1, Scunthorpe 0, and Bristol Rovers now 3-0 up on Burton. And goal back for Blackburn at Peterborough. Jordan Rhodes, their top scorer. Blackburn 1, Peterborough 3, though, is the score. United with Evra. Evra squared to Anderson to Rooney. Attempted to give it back to Anderson, but intercepted by Howson. And now Norwich are away on the counter-attack, and it could open up for them here if Pilkington can find the pass. Pilkington hits it perhaps a little long. He's asking a lot of Snodgrass, who's herring up the right-hand side and can't reach it, and it's out for a throw.
Yes, and the Pursuit's decided he's going to make a change now, John.
We're going to see the Sierra Leone international, Kay Kamara, who scored his first goal last week, late on, the equaliser against Everton, when Norwich turned it around and beat David Moyes' side at Carrow Road. So on he comes, on loan from Sporting Kansas City to the end of the season. And he's going to take the place of Wes Hoolahan.
Yeah, I'm surprised really in a way. I thought Hoolahan really was perhaps the one player who might have jugged it around a little bit in the middle of the field.
I think Chris Hughton, perhaps with the visit of Real Madrid, is sensing that Manchester United might just be a little vulnerable here. So on comes Kamara to play alongside Holt. Stevenage 0, Colchester 2 now. And back to Ian Robertson, Harlequins.
It's now one penalty to each side since. Oh, I'm ready to go, but it's 16-15 now to Harlequins.
I do beg your pardon, Ian Robertson. It was Alistair Eakin I was supposed to go to. So come on, Alistair.
Hi, John. 6 minutes left to play here at Welford Road, and Leicester are eating Sale alive. They lead by 48 points to 3. They've scored 6 tries. The last of them has come from Matt Tate. They're going to hit the 50 mark, you would have thought, at some point in the remaining few minutes. 6 minutes left, 48 points to 3.
So there we are. It's all worked out well in the end. You know what's happening in both games.
Rooney's just got a knock there. Johnson came across, caught him with his left foot. Rooney is limping a little bit.
Cleverly's going to come on for Manchester United, and Norwich are going to make a change. First of all, Snodgrass who's going to come off, and Elliot Bennett will take his place on the right hand side of the Norwich midfield, and Cleverly will come on for Anderson.
Yeah. I think he's been missing in the second half, I must be honest. I thought in the first half, I thought he did well. I think Anderson has a talent. I think he's one of these players. He's a good left foot. When things are going well, he's good. When the team are defending, I don't think it's his style somehow. I don't think he picks players up easily in the middle of the field either. He likes to be in possession rather than, chasing after it.
5 Live in the World Service. Manchester United winning 1-0 against Norwich. And here's more from Mike Costello in Sweden at the Athletics.
And a dramatic conclusion to the women's pole vault final. Holly Bleasdale is the gold medalist, is the European indoor champion. At the end of a competition in which the bar wasn't elevated but was lowered, she's gone clear at 4 metres and 67 centimetres. Anna Rogowska of Poland failed at that height. Bleasdale at 21 is the European indoor champion. Britain's first medal of the championships is gold.
Thank you, Mike. 1-0 to Manchester United then. Here's Kamara with his first touch of the ball, heading it down, trying to find Holt. But runs for Manchester United. And the goal scorer, Kagawa, touches it to Valencia. Valencia, who set up the Manchester United goal with a cross from the right. Still going. Beats 2 men, plays it infield towards the newly arrived Cleverly, whose pass is misplaced and straight through for a goal kick. So 1-0 to Manchester United here. It is still 1-0 to Chelsea against West Brom at Stamford Bridge. Everton 3-0 up on Reading. Southampton 1, QPR 1. Stoke 0, West Ham 1. Sunderland 2, Fulham 2 after Fulham were 2-0 up. And still Swansea 0, Newcastle 0. And York 0, Bradford 1 in League 2. Back in action, Bradford, after the events of Wembley last weekend.
I think it'll be interesting to see what these Real Madrid spies, I think that's what we can say they are, just along from us.
What the 2 swarthy fellows.
But I think the thing about it is, Manchester United, I thought they looked good in the centre of the field, passing the ball around, just falling down at the vital time in the first half. But there's not been much really in the second half.
Well, Kamara is putting Evans under pressure here, but Evans shielded it really well, and it bounced through to De Gea. Yes, we were looking to see who was here from Real Madrid, and they stood out like a sore thumb, didn't they? They had "I'm from Madrid" written all over them, and then when one of them produced a blanket, that sailed it. Long ball forward for Rooney, excellent ball. Rooney cuts back past Basson, plays it to Kagawa, who side foots it into the net and makes it 2-0 to Manchester United. And Kagawa, quite right, goes to Wayne Rooney and congratulates him for his part in that goal. 2 goals for Kagawa, 2 goals for Manchester United, and they're going to establish a 15-point lead at the top again tonight.
Yes, I made the point earlier on that I don't think after this wonderful start he had when he came here, he seemed to just dip a little bit in form and he hadn't quite got home, but here he is with a couple of goals in this match. Well, neither of them really were anything fantastic. They were both within the 6-yard box, almost tap-ins, both of them. He owed that one there to Rooney, who controlled the ball beautifully, laid it back, but give Kagawa a little bit of a pat on the back, because what he did more than anything else, he kept his composure and just side-footed it into the goal. And that surely, is the 3 points. I would have thought so. And really, in the second half, Manchester United have been pretty ordinary. But they've got the lead now, 2-0.
I think it was Carrick's ball from inside his own half.
Yes.
Probably halfway inside his own half.
Yes.
For Rooney, and now Rooney's on the move again and plays it past the defender, but the referee waves advantage. Welbeck with a shot. It's blocked by Bunn, runs into the penalty area, and Norwich get it away. Southend are 1-0 up on Rotherham. Oxford United back in front against Port Vale, 2-1 to Oxford. And Brighton in front again against Huddersfield. Brighton 2, Huddersfield 1. Ulloa has scored again for Brighton. Back to Peter Slater at Sunderland.
Still 2-2, but Sunderland, I think, should have had a penalty. Emmanuel Frimpong, one of the Fulham substitutes. Looking at the replays, two hands as the Adam Johnson shot came in. Mark Halsey either unsighted or decided it was ball to hand rather than hand to ball. Didn't give it. It remains 2-2.
75,586 people are here inside Old Trafford for this game. And it's the United fans at the moment who are celebrating that second goal.
It hasn't been a noisy Old Trafford today, has it? You know, for a lot of the time, the crowd have been relatively quiet, I think, for 75,000. But they've come to life a little bit now after that goal. It was a good move. Carrick, Rooney, beautiful ball, pull back, and Kagawa's there to put it away, make it 2-0. And Norwich now, well, you can't really see it at the moment.
There's been another goal at Southampton, Jonathan Ledyard.
And it's gone to Harry Redknapp's Queen's Park Rangers. The goal has been scored by Jay Bothroyd. Great persistence, great energy by Park down the right-hand side. Got away from Yoshida, crossed, and from close range, where was the Southampton defence? Bothroyd was there, steered the ball in his first Premier League start of the season, and it's a goal. Southampton 1, Queen's Park Rangers 2.
Well, that is certainly what Queen's Park Rangers need at the moment. And if Southampton fail to win that, they'll have won only one of their first 6 games under the new manager Pochettino. And that will just change the picture just a little at the bottom, Jimmy.
Yes, it will. It will. It just, gives Rangers a little bit of hope. If they could win that match, it gets them onto the 20 points out of the teams, where they've been for a while. Just give them a little bit of hope.
Wigan, who are just above the relegation line, at home to Liverpool from 5:30. Brighton are now 3-1 up on Huddersfield, and Jose Ulloa has scored a hat-trick. So 3-1 to Brighton, who will stay in the playoff positions in the Championship. Middlesbrough were winning against Cardiff, last we heard, by 2-1. It's Aldershot 1, Gillingham 1, equaliser for Gillingham. It's been another goal in the Hull City-Birmingham game, Stuart Pike.
It's a rout, John. Hull 5, Birmingham 0. El Mohammadi, it was more a shot from a tight angle, but it turned into a cross, and Ghetto with a thunderous header, making it Hull 5, Birmingham 0.
Walsall now 3-1 up on Shrewsbury, a goal back for Shrewsbury. Leyton Orient 3-1 up on Bournemouth. And 2-0 to Manchester United here on 5 Live in the World Service. 6:06 to come after Sports Report with Mark Chapman and Robbie Savage. And it is now full time at Leicester. Alistair Eakin.
And it's finished Leicester 48, Sale 10, 6 tries from the Tigers, 2 from Ed Slater and a penalty try before the break, 2 from Matt Smith and 1 from Matt Tate in the second half. The best player on the pitch, Tom Croft, immense, absolutely everywhere today, leading the side on his 100th start for Leicester. Sale still rooted to the bottom, totally overwhelmed today. It's finished Leicester 48, Sale 10.
Into the last 10 minutes here at Old Trafford, United leading through 2 goals from Kagawa, 1 in each half, as Welbeck is fouled on the halfway line by Turner. The free kick to United. Welbeck has stayed down. So we'll bring in Nigel Spackman and Mark Pugac from Chelsea again.
7 minutes to go, 1-0 to Chelsea. Oscar could have wrapped it up from a bar header, but a good save from Foster. Then the other end, Czech. Excellent reflex save from Macaulay after another corner from West Brom, who Nigel Spackman have had 4 corners in the last 10 minutes. They're not hammering at the Chelsea goal, but they're asking a few more questions.
They're asking a few more questions, but Steve Clarke has made 3 substitutions to liven his team up. Chelsea needed that second goal to kill West Brom off, and the longer it goes at 1-0, you just think that West Brom might just nick something from this game late on.
1-0, 6 minutes to go. Just a little bit nervy for Chelsea at the moment, John.
And Michael Turner's been booked for that challenge on Welbeck, who stays down. Welbeck, who started in the Bernabeu, and remember scored the opening goal as well against Real Madrid in the first leg. Last we heard, by the way, it was 1-1 in the league game between Barcelona and Real Madrid in the Bernabeu. It started at 3 o'clock, just like this game. Welbeck continues to receive treatment. And a first goal in the Swansea-Newcastle match, Andy Gillis.
It's come very late on in the 85th minute to Swansea, and to the substitute Luke Moore. It was Ratledge who played the ball into the area. Two Newcastle defenders made a complete mess of it, and I think the ball, courtesy of Moore, might have gone in off one of the defenders as well. I'm not quite sure if it might have been Cabaye who was at the back helping out there, or even, I think it was Cabaye who might have touched it in at the end, but Luke Moore will claim it. Swansea 1, Newcastle 0.
Welbeck is on his feet. He's got one black sock halfway down his right calf. I think he's going to be able to come back on. Yes, he is. Back to Goodison Park, another goal, Conor McNamara.
Yeah, goal back for Reading. Everton 3, Reading 1. Surely too little too late with just over 6 minutes to play, but Hal Robson-Kanu with an impressive front post header to beat Jan Mucke, and it's Everton 3, Reading 1.
And Sergio Ramos has just scored for Real Madrid to put them 2-1 up on Barcelona in the league game today. So it seems as though Real Madrid might warm up for Old Trafford with 2 wins in a matter of days against Barcelona.
Not bad tonic, that. But I would have thought, really, I was just watching Norwich. They just got a little bit annoyed with themselves, I think, in the last few minutes. Turner's just got booked there. The referee was absolutely right to book him. There's been challenges going in. There was another one came from Johnson. It was a little bit near the bone as well, but nevertheless, they were doing very well. They just keep the composure.
Brighton now 4-1 up on Huddersfield. Manchester United looking for a third. Valencia drives it across. It hits Rooney on the backside, I think, and bounces down, and Norwich are able to clear it away. Lopez scored the 4th goal for Brighton from the penalty spot. It's going to be 5 games unbeaten for Brighton. A first goal at Ipswich, Simon Mann.
And what an important goal this could be for Ipswich Town in their bid to stay in the Championship. They're 1-0 up against Leicester, 5 minutes from the end. David McGoldrick played in on the left side of the penalty area. Schmeichel came out, he lifted it over him. Ipswich has stayed in the game, and they've got what could be a late winner. Ipswich 1, Leicester 0.
And Exeter 3-0 up now on Northampton. And another goal at Doncaster, Derm Tanner.
Yeah, Doncaster will stay top of League One tonight. They're 3 up now. Billy Painter heading in from Tommy Spurs. Cross wide on the left. Doncaster 3, Hartlepool 0.
And incidentally, if you didn't hear us say a little earlier, Real Madrid, Jose Mourinho, today leaving out Ronaldo and Ozil and Khedira and Alonso and Di Maria from his team. But they are nevertheless beating Barcelona in the league by 2-1. 2-0 to Manchester United. Bradford are now 2-0 up at Bootham Crescent against York City in League 2. And a throw-in for Norwich. But Garrido takes up the line, headed infield by Holt. Carrick gets a touch, and it's played back by Evans to goalkeeper De Gea.
I think one of the key moments in this game has been, John, when Norwich were doing very well in that period just after half-time, when the ball was knocked down and Martin put the ball over the top, of an empty goal. Had that gone in, I think it would have lifted Norwich, and they would change their attitude a little bit. But Manchester United have punished them, I feel, since then. Lovely goal, the second goal. I thought very well taken, well played by Rooney and taken by Kagawa. But there's no real attacking threat from Norwich since then.
It's remarkably similar to that game last season when Pilkington missed the chance to make it 1-1, and Manchester United eventually ran out 2-0 winners. Here's Carrick back in the centre circle.
They'll keep the ball, Manchester United, now as well. They're not toying with Norwich, but what they do is they make it life difficult for them. They just keep the ball. They'll notice that these people from Real Madrid who are here today, they'll notice Manchester United are comfortable on the ball. All the players are comfortable with it.
5 Live in the World Service, 2-0 to Manchester United. It's another weekend on 5 Live where we'll bring you commentary on both Manchester United and Manchester City's games. City at Aston Villa on Monday night, and Ian Robertson can update us on Harlequins and Exeter.
Harlequins have got some work to do. There's 10 minutes of the match left. They've just leaked a try. Damien Welsh has scored it, so Exeter lead Harlequins 20 points to 16, 10 minutes of the match to go.
After Leicester's 48-10 win against Sale in the 3 o'clock kickoff. Back to Stuart Pike in Hull again.
Consolation for Birmingham, Hull 5, Birmingham 1. Peter Levenkrantz looping a shot from 20 yards into the top corner, but it's still their worst defeat of the season, and they're still looking over their shoulders at the bottom. 5-1 Hull.
Kagawa's in for a hat-trick. It's a hat-trick for Kagawa. Wonderfully worked goal for Manchester United. Rooney played him in again, and a delightful finish this time from the Japanese to make it Manchester United 3, Norwich 0.
Oh, lovely goal. Beautifully taken. All the crowd stood to the feet. That's been the best moment of the match, really, for the home fans. And really, Norwich gave the ball away in the centre of the field. That was the problem. And then United really cut them up. And it was Kagawa who actually started the move off. It was played across. Rooney picked it up. Beautiful lay back, and Kagawa went on. And as Dunn came out, the goalkeeper, he just chipped it over him beautifully. Well, that's a memorable day for him, isn't it? What a memorable day. I want it to be enough to keep him in the match against Madrid. 3 goals. And that's what's put Manchester United, well, as you say, John, 15 points clear at the top.
Well, he did start, didn't he, in the Bernabeu, Kagawa.
Yeah.
Remember, Giggs came on for him.
Yeah, he did.
Well, we were expecting all sorts of things today. You know, what sort of team Manchester United put out. I think many of us in the media were expecting to hail Ryan Giggs for his 1,000th senior appearance, and then he wasn't involved in the 18. But one thing, Jimmy, I didn't expect to happen today was a Shinji Kagawa hat-trick.
No, neither did I, because I'd made the point earlier on, he hadn't been doing as well as he did when he first came, but he's really come good today, and there's nothing like scoring goals really to give you confidence.
Here's Rooney, who's been involved in 2 of Kagawa's hat-trick goals. Gives it to Welbeck inside the area. Welbeck gave it to Carrick, and now cleverly they wanted Carrick to shoot from distance there, and it's found its way to Welbeck, who's okay, shaking off that knock from the Turner challenge. Sheffield United are now 2-0 up at Oldham after Oldham's visit to Goodison on the other night. Rooney chips the ball forward. It deflects all the way out to the right here to Smalling. Smalling now back to Valencia. Valencia's on his right foot inside the area. Kagawa, another touch from him inside the box. Valencia shoots, but it's blocked by the legs of Garrido, and it ricochets back to Bunn, the goalkeeper. So 3-0 Manchester United lead.
I think I'm right in saying Kagawa's got 3 goals today, and his other contributions right through the season are 2.
Yes, that's correct.
So he's got 1 more than he's had in all the other games put together.
Yes, here's Welbeck now to the left-hand side to Cleverley, but only half cleared away by Norwich. Just over a minute to play of the 90. Swindon have equalised. Kevin MacDonald now in charge. 1-1 at Coventry. And Blackburn have got a second goal back. Rooney's on his right foot. Shoots high into the net. 4-0 Manchester United. And Rooney rounds it off and paves the way now for the visit of Real Madrid with a handsome victory. Excellent from Rooney. Manchester United 4, Norwich 0.
Yes, he blows a kiss to the crowd, and they'll be blowing him back to him because, well, Rooney's been the star as well as Kagawa today. He's made 2 of the goals for Kagawa through unselfish play, but really through good football. But he's just ended the afternoon off for the United fans. He's picked the ball up from the left-hand side. He's come across, and he's about 3 or 4 yards outside the D. He's gone past one Norwich player, and he's hit it with his right foot, and it's gone right in the top right-hand corner. And the goalkeeper, frankly, didn't have a prayer of saving that. Beautiful goal, 4-0. It's a bit harsh on Norwich after the way they played in the second half, but I'm afraid that's the way it goes. And United now, what a tonic this is for them, really, before they face Madrid. Actually, a few of the people have left, John. They've left on the other side of the ground.
They might have missed the Kagawa hat-trick and Rooney's goal. It's full time in Swansea. Andy Gillis.
Swansea 1, Newcastle United 0. Luke Moore's, the substitute's late goal in the 85th minute, securing the victory. Harsh on Newcastle, who played really well in the second half, but Swansea nick it. Swansea 1, Newcastle 0.
Birmingham have got another goal back at Hull. It's 5-2 though to Steve Bruce's side. Chris Burke with the second goal for Birmingham. And Rooney's goal there coming in the 90th minute. We're into added time now. And I don't know about you, Jimmy, I thought that goal, that strike from Rooney, actually had a touch of the Ronaldo's about it.
It was a belter. It was a belter. I think in the second half, I think he's been the problem for Norwich. I mean, say, Kagawa's got the goals, and he'll get the headlines. But Rooney's made 2 goals, and he's also, scored that 3rd goal as well. And he's the link pin. He's the link pin when it comes into forward play, because his vision is so good. But that 4th goal, well, it's one to have a look at tonight if you get a chance.
Luciano Becchio has just come onto the field for Grant Holt as Chris Hughton's third and final substitute. Match of the day is 10:25 tonight, or 7:30 in the morning on BBC One. So 4-0 now to Manchester United here. Chelsea still 1-0 up on West Brom. Everton 3, Reading 1. Still Southampton 1, QPR 2. Huge win for Harry Redknapp on his birthday. Huge defeat for Southampton on Pochettino's birthday. Stoke 0, West Ham 1, Sunderland 2, Fulham 2 are all still playing. It's finished Swansea 1, Newcastle 0. It's finished at Sunderland 2-2, and Everton have won 3-1 against Reading. Southend 1, Rotherham 1, equaliser for Rotherham. Chelsea have won 1-0 as well. So more from Mark Pugac and Nigel Spackman there. Once we've finished off here at Old Trafford, where lots of red seats are now appearing around the ground as people make their way towards the exits. And in the end, Jimmy, Manchester United have tuned up quite nicely for Real Madrid.
Yes, they did. They dominated the first half. They got a goal, into injury time. That was the perfect goal time for them. Norwich battled hard in the second half, missed a wonderful chance to get back in. Martin put it over the top. But as the half progressed, United got on top again. Kagawa's had his moments. 3 goals today. This is something he's always going to remember. 2 made by Rooney, I thought, with lovely passes, and then Rooney's finished it off. So really, it's been a perfect day for Alex Ferguson and for Manchester United. Norwich, I'm afraid, the away record is still pretty poor for this season. Still only 1 win away from Carrow Road.
Well, Madrid have finished their game. Real Madrid's match is over. They've beaten Barcelona by 2-1, with a number of the players, Ronaldo included, rested. But Barcelona still have that 12-point lead, but Real Madrid inch a little closer to them. Atletico Madrid in second position. And we're deep into stoppage time here. Coventry 1, Swindon 2. 2 late goals for Swindon, so it's going to be a winning start, it would seem, for Kevin MacDonald. Coventry 1, Swindon 2. And here is Kagawa, the hat-trick hero today. Rooney now, pivotal role that he's played in the game. Rooney's ball over the top for Smalling down the right-hand side. United looking for 5. It's played across. Welbeck was very nearly there, and a final stretch from Turner just took it away and prevented him from reaching him. Ipswich have beaten Leicester by 1-0. Ipswich 1, Leicester 0 at Portman Road. And that's it. Manchester United have won 4-0. Kagawa's hat-trick, 1 from Rooney. And that's it. They can now begin to prepare in earnest for the visit of Real Madrid here on Tuesday night, which you'll hear here on 5 Live, when the whole of the programme will come from Old Trafford for what should be a huge night of Champions League action. But in the Premier League, which is what Sir Alex Ferguson was first concerned with, Manchester United, just as last Saturday night, are now 15 points clear at the top over Manchester City. So final score here at Old Trafford is Manchester United 4, Norwich 0.